Go where?
Best it streams.
Yes.
Start talking.
Yes.
Dude.
All right. Warhammered, the 5th.
Is it the 5th?
This is the 5th.
Oh my God! Why'd we? Wow, we just keep doing this.
Yeah. COVID's being merciful. Yes. So tonight for Warhammered the 5th, we're drinking. What's on deck?
I went back. I'm two-fisting it because that's how we do. These are my power fists of drinking. I've got my Jungle Bird still, a classic from back in the day, from the Jurassic. Oh, that would have been good. I should have led with that. Classic from the Jurassic. Anyway, and then a little Basil Hayden's because I decided to. I got inspired by his fancy booze in a cup with an ice cube.
Yeah, and I went. There were a little bit more than the usual amount of ice cubes came out of the ice maker, but that's fine. I don't mind cold whiskey now and again. So again, bourbon and ice cubes. So that's.
But I couldn't go full this. Because I need a delicious fruity drink.
Just need
Guys, I mean, this is good, but
couple of fingers of bourbon before you get your tiki time.
Exact for it's tiki time.
Yes.
Leads into it.
Yeah. Oh, and you might that we're not toasting that Matt's not here, but Matt's not here.
Poor Matt.
As you can see, he's not down here. He's not around. He will not be teleporting in. He is otherwise engaged, so we will see him.
I thought he was married.
Oh, this is going to be really bad.
It's
really quick. But we'll see.
Speak like
but we'll have him
again as much.
We'll have him in 2 weeks for Warhammered the 6th.
Warhammer 6.
Yes. I'll take
Siete.
That's 7.
Damn it.
6.
I'm really excited about Warhammer Siete.
You got 6. You're good. You're good. Okay. All right. So with this bus trying to grab the steering wheel and steer it back onto the road.
No.
We're going to talk news and rumors.
News and rumors.
What's coming out tomorrow?
Oh, the heftiest of hefty boys.
Yeah.
The heftiest.
Oh, I always like to have the Games Workshop website pulled up whenever we.
The Mega Gargant is coming out.
I know. For
tomorrow.
Age of Sigmar, the big book. They're big. I'm gonna get the book because I don't want to feel like I want to buy 2 or 3.
The Sons of Behemoth, not the Final Fantasy monster or whatever god Bahamut materia. It's been a while since I played a Final Fantasy.
Well, Bahamut that's Dungeons and Dragons. Isn't it?
Also in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yes, he is
the white dragon, right?
No, he's a good dragon. Yeah. He's the god of good dragons. The opposite of Tiamat.
Yeah.
Wait, this is not what we're here to talk about.
No.
This is not
Dungeons
and Dragons.
There are plenty of
Dungeons and Hammered
for Dungeons and Hammereds. Hammered and Dragons. A giant release. Yeah, so Mega Gargants with the book.
Fuck off, biggest giants.
So, I don't know. You could proxy those into your 40K somehow.
You could. Oh, you could.
I mean, you could make a gross Demon Prince. Or a gross, like a nasty Nurgle Greater.
You could make a really good Demon Prince
chop
out of that
up
guy.
a Mega Gargant.
Yes.
I wish I saw it right before I came over here. Somebody painted a Mega Gargant in the Attack on Titan style.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was an amazing paint job, and I did not enjoy it.
That show I cannot watch for more than 10 minutes at a time.
Before
the whole start.
Oh, I can't help but notice we're currently being followed by Riggs. Rob Riggs. And if that is Matt Gooch, I'm
sure it's a different M Gooch.
Well, if it is, because I know that
actually this is the 99th M Gooch. It's a good point.
Yeah, well, I know that the Riggs plays with a Gooch, but it's not Matt Gooch.
Right.
But if it's Matt Gooch, that's a beautiful man. I am a fan of Matt Gooch. He can. I mean, I don't know why he's in a Warhammer world because he does. Doesn't roll.
It's obviously
but maybe it's to see us because we're eye candy.
Oh, so one thing I need to talk about because I forgot to mention this to anybody else before doing this, but we have a little the fuck, the marry, and the kill on the schedule, and I thought it would be fun to see if anyone has some submissions.
Sure.
Otherwise, we'll make it up.
Yeah.
And then you'll have to get whatever.
They can be compiled throughout the evening.
So if anyone has some, throw them in the Chizat, which is what the cool kids call chats.
Oh, and then also, I don't know if we're getting...
That makes sense. Hi, Mike.
Mike Gooch. Okay, cool. Which is, I think, if we're getting... are we going to get that individual Herald of Tzeentch on the flying disc.
We are getting the Herald of Tzeentch.
He's cool looking.
And we're getting an Endrin Master.
Yes, which you could put in. You can make a Spots army. Fine.
But more importantly, we're getting some sweet, sweet Necron robots. We're getting the box of warriors that is useless, but I will say.
But wait, the new warriors, right?
For $5, you can just buy the whatever recruit box, which gets you the same number of warriors and a bunch of Space Marines. So
I'm just saying. I mean, the fact that I could go back to Necrons and not ever build those old warriors again.
Right. No, that the fact that there are new warrior builds.
Which are they? Wait, hold on. Did they fix the build? Have you seen the multi-part?
Oh, they're good.
It's not the stupid ball and tiny joint.
No, they're so much better. And they have a cooler gun.
Gauss blaster.
Gauss flares.
Gauss flares. As soon as you glue them together, they go.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have what's the other Gauss they have? They have a sexy little gun that they improved from the Indominus.
Is it Gauss or is it just Gauze? It just heals.
Gauss, sir, like the
They could have a Gauss thing and a Gauze.
A Gauze thing.
Like a Gauze pad.
They have Gauss flares and reapers.
Ooh.
Anyway, we'll get to that when we talk Codex review. They improved some warriors. It was great.
Yeah.
And then Sammy Six Guns comes out.
Sure.
The Hex Marks Destroyer with the Hex Marks the Spot. That's how I could have led with that.
I like that.
Boy, I come up with a lot of puns too late.
If you feel so led, the new White Dwarf is at the store.
New White Dwarf is at the store. 6 guns, man. Well,
yeah. Let's see.
Oh, why isn't Matt here? Because then I could be like...
Because he's otherwise engaged, also known as married.
Pew, 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 and you'd have 2 pew pews.
Oh, yeah.
And then Matt would have 2 pew. Matt missed the wrong week. We'll get back to that next week when we do our Hexmarks Destroyer Halloween costume.
Are we gonna have the Lionel Johnson novel?
Lionel Johnson novel, yes, it is also available.
I've only read the Khan one, and I read the Gilliman one. They're good. I would recommend if it's Primarch you like, grab the. It's usually like, hey, they're new. It's like a fresh-faced new Primarch story with one cool fight. It's kind of how it rolls.
Fresh-faced new Primarch.
Yeah, recently
like he's
discovered.
A wee babe.
Yeah, back when the Emperor is still dad.
Aww.
Before he's what
number
happens?
Really high dad.
Yeah, but the Magister of Tzeentch. I have a Tzeentch Demon army, and I always think about going back and mess with it. Scorpec Destroyers. Did we talk about?
They are also Scorpec Destroyers. Again, another thing that you can get in one of the assorted whatever editions. If you wanted to get both Warriors and Scorpec Destroyers, you get one of the bigger boxes.
But
also get a bunch of Space Marines.
Is this guy?
That's Sammy Six Guns.
Yeah, okay, that's Sammy Six Guns. Every time I think of it, I always first think of the Gene Stealer Pulse 3-gun guy.
Right? Did you see that they made like a great good, bad, and the ugly bit? Because they have all these like little pistoleros running around.
I've been really distracted by Stompy Big Boys.
The stompiest big boys.
All right, so that's the new release. And then soon we should start hearing rumors of Christmas bundles.
Bindles? Christmas bindles?
I don't know. Maybe we'll get another paint thing. Maybe we'll get some really cool army deals. Maybe it'll be another one of those things where it's just, hey, you want Tyranids?
I'm really excited for there to release a Sisters of Battle box because that'll follow the tradition of as soon as I buy a ton of stuff for an army,
a really good deal comes out.
Yes, immediately afterwards, it makes me. And then everyone's like, "Are you getting the box?" And it's like, "Already."
For me, it's always like, "Hey, we're gonna get this really good deal." I'm like, I should get one of those. Never mind, they're all spoken forks. Everyone knows they're a good deal. And then also, if you watch Games Workshop online stuff tomorrow morning, there's a new preview day, and the theme is Gridirons and Glory.
We're gonna
talk about. Hopefully, we're gonna get all the new Blood Bowl, and we're gonna at some point, hopefully, whenever the new. Are they calling it a new edition?
Yeah, it's a new edition.
New edition of Blood Bowl.
Have the game.
We're just gonna have a Warhammered Blood Bowl episode because even that just isn't enough time to spend.
We're going to talk a lot. We're going to talk an insufferable amount about Blood Bowl.
Most infuriating game.
The game. What's that? We famously say that you're not playing Blood Bowl until at least one person
this
fucking game.
I would actually say I'm gonna make a beginning of show rant and wild speculation that Blood Bowl exhausts me more than Kingdom Death.
Blood Bowl
and while
Kingdom
Death is a cruel game, Blood Bowl.
Because the difference is Kingdom Death, you're all working together and you're friends, so you have people to commiserate with you.
And then a bunch of really beautiful models of cardboard just kills you.
Right. Whereas in Blood Bowl, the person on the other side of the table tries to pretend that they're super sad that your amazing Starcatcher just got annihilated by rolling a pair of ones.
I've never gotten that feeling from an opponent. No, what it is for Blood Bowl...
they do the thing where they're like, that sucks. So I guess I'm just going to pick up the ball here.
The time you feel it is when someone goes for it and then dies. But additionally, no, for me, it's always for Blood Bowl. It's two players playing head to head, and they both usually suck. And it's just watching what dice can do to a person.
Oh, and just it's designed to wreck your soul.
Yeah,
it fills me with joy.
But it is. We call it a board game because it's on a board. It'd be in my top 5 board games of all time. Because it's
magical,
the best. And also, what I've learned throughout this pandemic time, the Blood Bowl, whatever the most recent version is that's available on Steam or on Xbox or PlayStation, is really fun. Set the AI on medium. That's the closest you're going to get to a challenge. Once you set it to hard, you just roll ones.
On hard, they cheat.
Yeah, it's just the calculations are bad. But you can also every once in a while find a decent game against someone out in the world. And there's usually a good sale.
Yeah, we got to get that sweet Blood Bowl League going. And then I can ruin everything ruin friendships, ruin my self-worth.
I know. Well, I mean, I figure between Charles, Jacob, one of those two that both of them, I mean, I figure we could brace somebody to run a league.
Yeah, or lock them in. We're gonna have new fancy game rooms at the shop. We can just chain them to the wall.
I just figure
directly with like a referee cap.
Once we get the cafe open,
we
just pump them with booze so they can't get up and leave.
Right.
And they just
have to stay at the shop if you can never drive home.
And they just have to sit there and do matchmaking for the next week.
And drunken matchmaking, which will clearly go well.
I mean, so
you sit down at the table and you bring your Blood Bowl team, and they have like their entire War Machine army like laid out. It's like, what's happened here? Well, who am I playing against?
That's a deep cut. That's War Machine. Wow.
Yeah, that's why it would be that weird.
Yeah, your Dreadball team.
Oh, that would be even better though. No, what's the one that just died?
That was Guild Ball.
Yeah,
and that sucks because that game was cool.
Oh, now it's dead.
Because
all hail Blood Bowl.
Well, so here's the thing that I think if Blood Bowl had actual, like, you had a decent chance of predicting the score. Guild Ball has a thing where, because it's soccer and there's more abstract movement, you can't score until the crowd's like pumped up and ready to actually cheer for you. Because if you do it before they notice, it doesn't matter to the team. So
it doesn't even count.
Blood Bowl would be kind of cool. I mean, but Blood Bowl is just one of those. We'll take it anytime we can get it.
Sweet magic.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about what we're working on?
I guess
because
so.
I need to drink heavier before I get to what I'm working on.
All right, here I'll start.
Here, you talk, and I'm going to start.
Okay, so this is so I'm going to plug. I'm branching out. I'm plugging a different game system. The game that we know and love as Saga has just released their Age of Hannibal supplement. So we're digging into Rome and Carthage.
Tiny Romans.
And so I've been blasting out with GW contrast paints, so it's on brand. Some Iberians, because if you want to paint dirty linen tunics that are worn by a bunch of dirt-sucking peasants with spears, contrast Skeleton Horde. That was and so basically it's my army is mostly Skeleton Horde, some of the Snakebite leather, which is also I think a must-have, some of the Gore-Grunta fur, and then some Acrexer shade, and I just painted the skin tones in because they're Spaniards, so I don't think there's a good contrast skin tone. So I've been knocking those guys out. At the same time, after a little bit of a lapse, I'm jumping back into the Death Poetry Guard.
Yeah,
I've got my Blight Lord.
You did it on the first try.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I got my Blight Lord Terminators out. You have to decide which amazing, disgusting weapon I want to give them, because it's really hard to not make an all melee Death Guard army because they have amazing things.
But you can take the sweet tank boy.
True, and I also need to get my Death Shroud out with their Plague Spurt gauntlets.
Oh, this is gonna be the session of just
Yeah. Instead of those wonderful.
Nothing should spurt.
What is it? What do Terminators usually have? It's not a storm. What's their usual bolter on their wrist?
Storm bolter.
It's a storm bolter.
Yeah.
So
it's not a spurt bolter.
Yeah. So Death Guard. It's like storm bolters. Everybody has those except for Death Guard.
Is that the choice it makes?
So yeah. But anyway, so I've started. I've gotten
like
back
whatever magnified 1,000 times the sound of a pimple popping.
Oh, did you ever see that in Saturday Night Live when John Belushi was he was a pimple for Halloween? They had the mayonnaise in his mouth, and it was awful. So I've been working on getting some Terminators put together. I've been painting some incredibly old Grey Knights for McKinley. I've got a metal Drago, a metal. I think it's Captain Stern. See the one with the two swords, the falchions.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got that, and I've got an old ass dreadnought that and it's like, this is okay. He put a coat of silver paint on him, I don't know, years ago. So I've been a little bit of Grey Knights, back to my gross boys with their neon purple tentacles. Yeah. Where do you? I mean, now that you finished your Custodes. Yeah.
So this book came out, and it's been real cool. Got a bunch of cool stuff in it. There's a bunch of neat models. We'll draw your attention to Captain Page Full of Rules here.
Yes.
El Rey Silencio, the Silent King. This guy's real cool. His model is, for fuck's sake, cool looking. It is a gigantic pain in my ass. It is so hard. And it's maybe because I suck, but goddamn. It is a pain in the ass to put together.
What was the one you sent me? Signore Supremo?
No, that's just an Overlord. Yes. That's a thing we need to do some week is best names for Warhammer models.
Oh yeah, all the non-English Warhammer stuff.
Because we did discover that the Overlord is in Italian is Signore Supremo. Which
there was a wonderful time at Tabletop where they accidentally sent us a French Chaos Space Marines Codex.
Great. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can.
I don't remember
if I can still do it.
The stuff.
Song pour le dieu de song.
Yes.
Crans pour le throne de cran. His blood for the blood god, skull for the skull.
It's the most elegant blood in the elegant skull.
That Corn Berserker is classy AF.
Yeah. See, I thought you were drinking deeply because your hobby progress was going to be working on your pilot skills and squadrons.
I have been doing a lot of that, but I've been putting this together.
Star Wars Squadron time.
We've been watching a lot of Veep and assembling a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus, real good.
She's always been
like her a lot. She's a delight. Nothing to do with this. Should have cast her as somebody.
I was doing hobby and watching The Boys.
Oh, The Boys.
Yeah.
You haven't watched that.
Yeah.
Get to it. It'll blow your mind.
Carl Urban. And Crouch.
Carl Urban is. Did you Carl Urban?
He'll be here later in the
nice.
show.
Okay.
I mean, he won't be here.
Oh my God!
We could be so lucky.
Oh, what an amazing thing!
I would cause a display, but he'll be mentioned again later. But yes, I've been a fan of. I actually on a Boys tangent, because when you have kids, you gotta really be careful when you watch the show. I finally just started on it. I started on Monday, and I watched season 1, and now I'm on season 2. I'm a big fan of Mother's Milk. He's just cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And I mean, I like the whole cat. I like Frenchie a lot.
I love Frenchie.
I like Frenchie a lot.
So much better than in the comics. So
yeah, and that's the thing. I started the comics. I didn't get too far,
it's okay.
and the comics were But I also feel the same thing about the Walking Dead comics. I was like, they're fine, and then people made a huge deal. I'm like, but I'm not a big zombie guy.
Not fair. I like the Walking Dead comics.
Of those real like fucked up comics that have become shows, I think Preacher's the one that I think totally different stories.
Shite clones.
Yeah, but like if you want to watch, I mean, in the spirit, because Preacher on comics can go in a lot more different directions than the show can go. But I feel like that's been the one for me that I'm like I can bounce back and forth. I would love to see it.
I just thought of a new casting thing just when you brought up Preacher.
Is Cassidy in there?
No, but he could be. No, it's the guy who played Star. That's real creepy and sleazy.
Oh, right on.
Corvarin.
I almost put Tulip in my cast. We'll do that later. We're casting our characters.
Anyway,
but Tulip almost made it in.
She's magical.
She's so cool.
Silent King is a giant pain in the ass, but gorgeous and probably worth it once you get the damn thing together. But it's taking me a while. I'm also trying to find. So the Nightbringer is a sexy beast in this book. He is, yes. Oh, he makes me feel things.
So do you have the?
When I look at his stats,
do you have the Satan? Is the Silent King the conqueror of the Nightbringer?
Yeah, he's conqueror of the Nightman. For you Always Sunny fans out there. But anyway, the Nightbringer is an ancient, fine cast model, and he's this goofy guy, and he floats around with his ridiculous fucking abs, and I hate him. So I want to find another Nightbringer model. So if anybody can point me in the direction of a cool Nightbringer conversion, I just need a spooky tall boy with a scythe.
Yeah.
Or a scythe or can be added a scythe. Somebody mentioned the Morngull from Forge World. It's got a big scary mouth and it's smooshing somebody. It could be smooshing a Space Marine.
Yeah, I don't know. I
could put a scythe in his other
hand. I still think that's like one of the things, I try to just, I don't want to say, I don't want to always be the Warhammer apologist.
That's my job.
I know. But I still think that it was a great disservice that they did not keep making, the Satan in the Apocalypse.
Oh, right. The Transcendent Satan.
Yeah, because he's awesome. And you can make a Nightbringer, you just do a cool, or I paint him for you in a cool airbrushed black and blue thing.
Let that slide.
You know,
Yes.
because that's how that would happen. But
Shut up, you don't know my life.
But yeah, I mean that figure is like, okay, well you made that Satan that no one could get a hold of.
Right. Can we do?
I mean, you made the molds for that, and that's that's injection plastic, so it's expensive. Come on.
Just give me that thing. No, they want to sell more Tesseract molds.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not even available anymore, is it?
Probably not.
I don't think it's on
It's in the book. It's also pretty sexy.
Okay, yeah, because the last
You
thing
want to sit up that big.
there's
sexy
not as
Warhammered
much
choice.
Apocalypse. I mean, the Baneblade's still there. The Stomp is still there. I got one of those.
I think it's direct.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, maybe
I
it's back in
direct.
stock. It was out of stock for a long
Oh, well,
time.
fair enough. Everything's out of stock because of COVID.
Yes. All right.
All
So now
Are we Codex reviewing?
I'm gonna take a little sip here before. Actually, do you want to start?
I can start talking about this
Yeah.
sweet Necron Codex that I've come to. I am really digging the new design on these Codices, and I'm also digging
There's some really cool new art.
There's some really cool.
I don't know about that. But
No,
in here,
sheesh, we cannot even discuss new art without showing.
I mean, there was awesome new art in the
No,
rulebook.
the sexiest boy in this book. He's being.
Is it Carl Urban?
Could be played by him. I don't know. I believe we're going to talk about who you will cast for him later on. But there's a Trazen the Infinite picture. Look at this guy. Can I get? I don't know how I can zoom in on where that goes.
I think it's just, hey, if you buy the Necron Codex, then you will be able to
No,
see.
shut up.
Okay.
This guy, is that look, Madeline? Can you see
Yeah.
anything? All right. Look at it. He's so insouciant. That is how I would describe him. He's he's in full fucking, what was the guy in the Iron Throne when he was like sitting in there and he like is all like in Game of Thrones, he had, like the leg up.
Yeah.
He's that guy. He's
Aegon?
so
Not Aegon. Harris?
no, wow. Then I've watched the thing. But anyway,
Yeah.
he's all just like king pimp, lean back. Like Necrons don't have posture or get tired, and he's like, no, this is how I choose. He opted to choose to sit like
Yeah.
that. He doesn't need to. It's not like he gets uncomfortable if he sits another way.
Which is like,
He has opted to
feel
lounge
like-
in that chair.
I feel like because of, and we'll talk about it, but because of this book,
Yeah.
The Infinite and the Divine, this makes that pose a big old freaking joke to Trazen. He's
Yeah.
like, huh, I understand that assholes do this.
Yes,
So
110%.
I'm gonna try sitting this way.
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
First of all, 110% chance that this is not his chair that he's sitting in. That he's like waiting for somebody else to get back. And he's like at maximum, he's like run all the simulations are. It's like, if I sit just like, hold on, 4 more degrees to the left. Yes, maximum man
Well, yeah.
spread douche seats. That's
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Well, you know, and he
Piss
also
somebody
could have
off.
been, you know, whatever the Necron equivalent sitting on the can reading one of his cool things, looking at his cool images, he might have seen some douche mortal
Yeah.
like on a throne, like
He found like an old Jersey Shore episode. And he's like, that's what I'm gonna be.
that.
I'm rocking
Yeah.
that. I'm
Yeah.
rocking the. What was that guy's name? The Situation. Wow, there's a little deep cut for you there.
So last week, 2 weeks ago, it was Vampire Show. 2 weeks after, it's Jersey Shore. God help us, what happens in 2 weeks?
The Sitch is
So,
up there. Anyway, we're talking about a cool codex.
so yeah, to discuss Necrons.
The layout is delightful. You know, same sort of thing. We get a lot of fluffy fluff.
Can we start actually to start from the cover in? Talk about this font.
Are we gonna talk about
this
the fucking
logo?
font? No.
This
God.
logo that's just wrecked the world.
Yeah, just
Okay.
I'm ruined. I
Yes.
can't even look at the
All
damn
right.
thing without being disgusted. Looking
Yeah.
at Kearney. Is that what it is? Kearney?
I just saw spot finish. I know.
There's
It's one thing.
also, you get a cool, you can put your, you can't take this code, I've already used it, so don't try. People who are watching, they're like, zoom
Screenshot.
in, enhance, and they're trying to steal my codex code, but you can't. It lets you look at the code in the app, which...
But did they? I saw a thing that said that they're not gonna keep doing it.
What?
Yeah, there was something on. Somebody reposted something, and again, this could be like an it was an ICV2 thing. So there was links
Fair enough.
that, like, I guess somebody in Games Workshop, one of the old board members, one of the old money grubbing board members types, must have snuck in because apparently there's not going to be more digital codes.
Weird.
I mean, they're
I don't know.
gonna keep the stuff updated, like War Scrolls are gonna
Data sheets,
data
sir.
sheets. if you get on your data slate.
Anyway.
But I don't know if they're gonna.
Oh, I thought that was their whole thing.
I would love it if they. I don't know. Oh, I just dropped out the table. Sorry. Jeez.
But anyway, their apps are. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna 100% rate that app based on the character.
I really don't mind that $5 a month. It's not.
I don't mind, but it's like there's so many typos in this fucking Codex Online, and like so many like non-information. Like you don't like if you look up the Deceiver, you don't get all of his abilities on the app, and it's like.
I mean,
cool. If you put everything he does, and they're like,
but is there typos in here?
No.
Okay.
In here, it's fine, but like in the app, like if I look up the Deceiver, it's like we're not going to tell you some of
his abilities. Is it typos or is it like
just like
is it like
Shadowrun
level
put stuff in? It's not that gold. Nothing's Shadowrun level. Jesus.
Okay.
I don't know how those people keep making money. But anyway, so the Codex though, not the app. The app is fine. So many good rule things. They've laid it out so much nicer. Talking about Senor Six Pistolas, we will talk about Senor Six Pistolas, or if I've been calling him Sammy Six Guns.
Yeah. Freaking John.
Don't you?
I'm gonna leave.
They're fine. We're gonna. He'll be my guest star.
Bringing the quality of this place down.
We'll get to him.
Golly.
But they lay out all the things, so all of the like your special abilities, your assorted dynastic abilities are all put together well. They've broken the stratagems up into categories, which I presume will matter at some point.
Any specific stratagems show themselves to you as something worth mentioning?
There's some. Okay, one thing that I really want to talk about to you about too, to see if they've done the same thing. So in the Crusade, if you looked at the Crusade rules, it's kind of cool because when you make a Crusade army, you can give like you can Oprah it up. And you can be like, you get a Warlord trait, and you get a Warlord trait, and you get a Relic, and you get a Relic. You can like just take those as requisition abilities, and then you couldn't. The other you could only take like one Relic and you only one Warlord trait. In this one, they have made it so there's a stratagem for both Relics and Warlord traits that you can give to everybody, and they're scaled to the size of your battle.
Okay.
So like in bigger battles, you can take more. So like you can only have one extra guy with a Warlord trait in a wee baby battle. But in a bigger battle, you can have 2, and in a huge battle, you can have 3 extra.
Yeah. That's actually one we'll check. I had to come at Space Marines Codex with I haven't gotten to play yet, so there was a lot of I got the big eyes when I read this because there's a lot of that's cool.
Well, there's a lot going on there too. You got the hard one. The other thing that's cool though is that there's a ton, like they've added special abilities to different characters. So like one of Trajan's special abilities is he makes the stratagem where you give somebody an extra relic, he makes that cost 0 the first time you use it. Because he's just got relics for days, whatever going on. And so they've made a bunch of things like stratagems or special abilities or classes or like characters or that kind of thing that make stratagems free. Like so you can use them like once per round without costing anything. And so they're really like finally integrating stratagems a little better.
There's a couple things. I made a couple dozen here for Space Marines that do the same thing. You'll also note, if you're a potential Necron player, there are more characters in the Necron world than Trajan, just not at this table.
Yeah, listen, we also will talk about Oregon. He's cool, dude.
Yeah, I mean, Xeris is cool, Imhotep's cool, but Trajan is senior.
Xandrak is a sweet boy. I love Xandrak to death. So
well, and the other thing is Xeris is the one with the coolest model. Xeris has an awesome plastic model.
He is magical.
So, but you could say you have Trajan and just use a warrior. So yeah.
There's also a Storm of Flensing Blades, and I just like to use the word flensing. I feel that's a good GW.
That's a good way to break out if you're playing against Emperor's Children, because they'd get off on it. They'd be into it. Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh,
flens me harder, Daddy."
Yeah.
So that's what they say.
Yeah. They don't have any yuckies for any yummies.
No, they
all yummies.
All of their yummies are yucky. Yeah. In fact.
So.
One that I really like is there's one called Revenge of the Doomstalker, and I do like it just for the name. But it's if one of your characters dies, a Doomstalker somewhere in your army can be like, "Fuck you, bam!" And that's sort of cute.
Is that thick boy or is that tall boy?
That's tall boy with the sweet cannon on his head.
And I bet he's got range.
He's got range, and he's got a good shooty shoot. So that's cool. One thing that I love that they added in this one, the old tiny cryptex are back, like back in the day.
Really?
So there's a ton of different kinds of cryptex, which is nice, and they have all these sweet cryptech not relics that you can give your.
Is Lemmy base player cryptech back?
No, sadly, no, it'll be ever back there. But you can get a hyper material ablator. They all have amazing names. They're like it's fucking sci-fi nonsense Mad Libs in here, and I'm here for it.
You really misled me on that one.
How about a prismatic?
Is the Night Shroud guy back?
Obfuscatron?
What about Night Shroud guy? The one that just drops the stuff in and then moves the stuff.
Veil of Darkness. Yes,
Yeah.
the Veil of Darkness is actually that's just a normal relic now. So anyway, it can do some things.
Oh, buying some death marks.
A prismatic Obfuscatron, sir. All right, just delightful. Anyway,
Is
so you can
that
give a
one,
bunch of cool
that old
abilities.
relic? You know, the old, I don't remember what they called it, but it was, you know, when your Necron had a weave.
Oh, semi-eternal weave.
Yeah.
Semi-eternal weave.
Semi-eternal weave.
Yes, that's a relic as well.
Which I always just had. I always kind of imagined like a crypto like Tiger King, but with like dreads. It's just real trash.
I want you to paint that.
What
up.
about Tachyon Arrow?
Oh, Tachyon Arrow is just like a standard thing that like Overlords get these days.
Yeah.
But there's a relic Tachyon Arrow that's for fuck's sake.
Because
not
that old
turned
one
around. Where
was
is
that
it?
old one that had almost infinite range. It was like strength D.
They did have. I think it did have infinite. I don't know if it had infinite range or if it just had shoot the next table over or maybe the parking lot outside range. The Arrow of Infinity, sir, is the relic version of the Tachyon Arrow, and it has a 120-inch range. So that's her little 10 feet away again.
I thought the Tachyon Arrow was nerdy enough.
No.
It's the Arrow of Infinity.
Arrow of Infinity. No, that's great because you can like say it down and you can be like, hey, the character over there on that table over there and the other person in the tournament, I fucking shoot him.
Strength 16.
It's strength 16 and does damage 6. It's
why would it be strength 16?
It's a hilarious one-shot thing. It's fun to move on twos. So anyway, good stuff for a lot of those things. But also all these cool Crusade rules. And you know I dig on my Crusade rules. So we have new special agendas just for Crusade, but then there's so many upgrades and so many new requisitions and so many cool things. You can turn your Lord into a destroyer. Like he goes a little crazy pants as you go on in the thing. So just there's what's the one that I really like? If you beat up another Necrons player, you get a bunch of free requisition points because they're like they have to tithe to you. So there's a bunch of super flavorful nonsense in the things. You get their most important. This is literally the most important page in the Codex, page 74. Is you get to roll in a random chart for your sorted titles that you get for being cool.
Oh man.
So yes, let's talk about
D66 even. It's
the
great.
Beheader of the Emperor Enthroned, the all-conquering master of the billion blades.
I'm pulling up a D66.
The embodiment of Metallo glory.
I want to know what I am.
All right, I want you to roll thing. We should always have dice. Why don't we have dice?
They're over there. Okay. Roll a D66. I feel like though with
just roll 2d6.
I know, but with Necrons, I feel like we've got like there's only one D6.
Well, roll it twice.
Okay, fine. All right.
What do we got?
A 2 and a 21.
21. Savior of the Wars of Rust. But you didn't get my favorite. He who listens not to unworthy prattlings.
Okay.
Give me some sweet.
Okay.
That's a 1. That's about right. 4. 14.
Ever vengeful tyrant of the night.
Ooh.
Wow.
I am.
I know.
There's no amount of vengeful that I am not.
Sure.
And it's of the night. There's new relics. Anyway, a bunch of really sexy stuff for the thing. And then all of the Dynasty cube, all of your sweet data sheets. Data sheets.
Does this have does this have the cool section back in some of the fluff where you get some of the cool hobby ideas for other dynasties
Then yes, they give a bunch of names.
Because there's so many cool ways to do Necrons, and there's so many. But
they don't show a lot of paint jobs, but they give a bunch of neat. Because there's a whole make your own dynasty thing, so you can pick 2 different traits.
What's this?
Those are doom sets.
I don't know the red. That's kind of that towel look. That's with the red, the
Those
white.
are the Novox. Those are the super violent boys. But like all blade. They want blood for the robot god.
I mean, I just want to
paint. Billion blades. Yes.
Freaking
billion.
John.
You didn't know how many blades it was.
Jeez.
It wasn't a million blades, but it's also not a trillion blades because that would be outlandish.
I'm gonna have to come up with a color shift dynasty. Yeah.
But yeah.
What's this guy?
Do you not know about the shard of the void?
Oh, that's the okay. I didn't know that was.
This is what also pisses me off. So we talked about fucking Nightbringer and his abs, and you're gonna tell me this guy has sexy abs, and fine, shut up. But look at the size of this guy's base. He's on a big ol' not messing around base.
Yeah, and Nightbringers, he's on
a 40mm base. He's the size of a goddamn Terminator.
And what's the in the gold one?
The Deceiver?
Yeah, they're both
on.
They're on little
base.
bases.
And the Deceiver with the stupid.
Yeah. Well,
croissant head.
That's the one issue, like with some of the older stuff, and I guess also third party is I have that amazing Zinchi Vrak from Ultra Forge, big old giant Keeper of Secrets.
Okay.
huge. Comes right down to the 50 mil base.
You know what, baby base?
And so I found him like in my stuff. I was like, oh, he's cool. And I got the big base, and it's just. I was like, well, you're gonna have to put some stuff on that base.
Also, I just want to talk about this picture a little bit with the Void Dragon here. This fucking Farseer.
That's Farseer.
That's just Farseer. Yeah. What? That player done fucked up. I don't know what he's doing there. He's like, I can take this guy. No, he did this wrong. Somebody deployed poorly. Anyway, this guy.
You know what's gonna happen? We're gonna get like a Matt Ward situation where they're gonna issue craft worlds, and that is gonna be a totally one-sided.
He gets 93 attacks.
Yes, it's gonna
damage
be. It's just gonna be.
They ignore ignoring.
There's like a retcon situation.
He actually is so good. He kills you in the last game that you brought him to because he can go into the past.
So yeah, Necron's good. I'm excited for some Necrons.
It's cool.
I'm
gonna laid out better.
I mean, I've got the Necrons from the Indominus box, and then I'm gonna have to rebuild the dynasty,
and rebuild it stronger, faster, better. It'll be the $6 billion dynasty,
the Flesh dynasty, the Fletcher Strength dynasty, for my standard boost. Okay, so let's talk Space Marines.
Oh, if somebody has an Indominus Indominus box, words are hard. They want to play Space Marines. Give me how many more models I need to field an army? Not many. God, if you have the Indominus box, you're doing.
I don't know what the Space Marine side on that one is.
I mean, you get a ton of Savvy Boys, right?
I don't have. You were there. None of us got to even get close to an Indominus.
That's true. None
box.
of us got to look at it.
Yeah, I was able to get Andrew Hooper's Necrons before he looked at them and thought they were cool. So I have some. But I haven't looked at Space Marines at all.
You're going to want some more troop choices, probably. Maybe some Assault Intercessors, because they don't come in the big box, do they? Some sort of Intercessors, or like Troopy Boys.
Get that 10-man Hellblaster squad. Can't go wrong with that.
You can never go wrong with Hellblaster.
Maybe throw in a Bobby Gilliman.
Hellblaster. Bobby, only if you're playing... Don't you Ultramarine assume... Anybody here? There
if you want to play,
there are 999 other chapters out there.
If you want to play one of my favorite games, what doesn't kill Robo Gilliman, and you just work your way through Walter's model collection.
What doesn't kill? Daggett Dixie can
yeah,
kill him.
12 Dark Elder bikes doesn't kill him.
It did not kill him. Did not even come close.
Okay. I mean, personally,
vehicles.
Yeah.
That's one of the big things.
We'll run into some stuff here. I just don't know what the.
You do not need a lot more. You can make a respectable army out of there.
Do you get a Crusade Force out of the Indominus box?
Oh,
yeah.
And you want Eradicators. Oh, yeah. More Eradicators.
Sniper
Start
boys?
with 3 of them. I don't know. I like the Sniper Boys, but I don't think
that's what the Eradicators are.
No, Eradicators are the fucking
Eliminators.
the Eliminators are the Sniper Boys.
Yeah.
Everything starts with an sound in the Space Marine Codex in Primaris, as we know.
I mean,
with your Intercessors and Inceptors and Eliminators and Eradicators.
Veterans. They're just cool.
Okay, so
Sortie
Boys.
Let's talk about
transports. Is what you want. Transports and vehicles.
Let's talk about some Space Marines, some Spacha Marines.
Marinos.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in here. I've got a lot of posted flags. I'm just going to kind of flip through and we're going to talk as we go. First of all, you get your breakdown. And personally, when I've played Space Marines in the past, just starting from the beginning is where I start getting an idea of what I want to mess with. There's an amazing picture right at the beginning that's got some serious old. I don't know what that is. That's
a chaplain.
Yeah, but he's big. I know this is some heresy armor. You got some Mark II and Mark III stuff
in there. Horus Heresy, super depressed. Even Horus can fall.
I'm gonna say this.
Poor boy. You poor sweet summer child.
I am certain that if I was a Luna Wolf and became a son of Horus, and Horus said, "Join me," I would not have said no. Because Horus is just that cool.
You would have turned your back on your emperor.
Horus, if
Horus
has,
that's what I call him.
There's no way to pass a charisma check against him. I mean, really. So anyway,
my boy Loken did.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yeah. So how about
we'll talk about Loken later, I think.
Oh, are you gonna talk about casting Loken?
I think so.
Cool,
my list did a lot. Actually, I went Primarch free on my list actually, which I have a reason why. Anyway, so. When you're working, the first part of this book is great for if you're a hobbyist. And for me, it was like I always liked Space Marines, didn't know how I wanted to paint them because it's Space Marines and can be tricky.
You're dudes.
Yeah. So like, first of all, Ultramarines, when they come in, they have a big thing of Ultramarine, successor chapters. Okay. So, but one of my shout outs on Ultramarines are always going to be Nova Marines and Howling Griffins. Their paint scheme is really cool. They have some cool lore. The other thing that I always want to point out whenever you look at Space Marines is between like Lexicanum online, and like I think it's just 40K Fandom.
Look over here a little bit.
Like, so when I first painted Ultramarines, I went and I discovered the Doom Eagles. They're silver and red, and their big trait is that they're super pessimistic and gloomy. And so if you're wanting, so my big thing is when you look through these chapters, if there's rules you like for Ultramarines, Raven Guard, and White Scars, these guys, White Scars for me, especially it's like I like White Scars personally. They're my favorite. I've kind of figured out some white, but it's taking a long time to do it. Figure out, there's a lot of cool stuff online where it's like, hey, the White Scars have a successor chapter that's mostly red. Maybe I could paint red a little easier. They can still have White Scars rules.
Do you think that they named a chapter the Iron Hounds just to confuse Iron Hand's successor chapters?
I just think
that's my theory.
I think that someone in the design studio put a picture of his good Doge on his
computer.
Was like, I want a puppet. But there's some stuff in here. I like the
yes. Are we done talking about poster boys?
Whatever. All right. So, but first of all, one of the things I did like is, and also there's a lot of these cool chapters. It's like, where do I get my, I've done that. I can tell you if you like the Dusty Imperial Fist Yellow, I can give you the recipe if you use an airbrush. I couldn't do it regular brush.
Successor chapter, sir. Successor chapter.
Imperial Fist, actually, that was kind of the thing, like, the airbrush was purchased for the Imperial Fist Army, and it went from there. I give you a good recipe, though. But there's some cool things in Ultramarines, the brazen consoles. Man,
there's a lot of consoles.
There's some, there's also a brand new can of Rune Lord brass.
Oh.
That you could bust out if you like the Ultramarines rules. Okay, so let's get past. And then also after the main chapters, there's a section of just successor chapters.
Look at all these Imperial Fist successor chapters.
Black Templars, Crimson Fists, and then some other Raptors, which I've always thought were closer to OD green. But these guys, Hammers of Dorn, which are like orangey copper,
which would be better than yellow.
Well, yeah.
Where's my Boys the Not Emperor's Children successor chapter?
Oh, they're in here. You know who I did not see unless I didn't read slow enough? Here's the one I've never seen. The Dark Krakens. Ooh. They're purple with freaking Krakens on their shoulder pads.
They're the great
which is one of those things where it's like, hey, I was going to say, hit up Shapeways and Thingiverse. You might be able to get some 3D printed shoulder pads with the signets of your choice. I did not see the wonderful Rainbow Warriors, the Carcharodrons.
What? No space sharks?
Yeah. The Minotaurs, again, if you like metallic colors and like you like some of that like brass and red, Minotaurs. And they have some cool Forge World stuff.
Everyone's favorite magpies, the Blood Ravens.
Yeah, I like this weird White Scars chapter where they just accidentally like the menials accidentally put the lightning bolt upside down. And it's like well,
get out.
I know
it's
like yeah. Well, no, it's just these menials are like, oh, we're gonna get killed. We gotta tell them it was on purpose.
That's our symbol, guys.
Yeah. The White Templars,
just hanging out.
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable with the White Templars. That feels a bit reactionary.
But there's some really cool color guides, hobby stuff, I think, in the beginning. All right, so moving on, we have a wonderful section on chapter tactics that gets you some cool, if you're wanting to play. One of the things I really liked.
We talk about the chapter elephant in the room a bit.
What's the chapter elephant in the room?
Look, there's Space Wolves and Blood Angels and Dark Angels and shit in there. They're all.
We've got a whole lot of stuff mashed together. And from what we understand, you're going to get, instead of getting a Space Wolves Codex, you're going to get like a supplement that's going to have space, because like Wolf Guard Terminators are not in here. However, there's some cool stuff in here, or like with Dark Angels, because I don't actually know. I played some Dark Angels, so I know a little bit more of that one. You just picked the one I don't know. But like Death Wing Terminators are going to be in a Dark Angel supplement. However, if you take Blade Guard veterans, they become Deathwing.
Yeah.
So
and like all the bikes are Ravenwing.
Right. Yes. And so, but we have
part is all of your chapters are in there. So every Space Marine except for Grey Knights gets stuff because they're
Death Watch. Death Watch are sort of in here.
Right. Death Watch get their own.
They're not. I mean, they get. There's a couple of things represent, but Death Watch and Iron and Grey Knights because they're weird. They're odd.
But the point is, Blood Angels and Dark Angels get all the sexy new things.
Now, here's something I thought was interesting. Is we have our Dark Angels, we have our main, and then we have our Crimson Fists. They've been around. Black Templars. This Flesh Terror thing just creeps up through each edition. There's a little more Flesh Terrors.
Like, somebody at Games Workshop clearly plays Flesh Terrors.
Somebody at Games Workshop.
They're like, we're gonna put them in. They're gonna be a real.
Sit there with the Underworld movies on, playing Flesh Terrors.
Tearing flesh.
Yeah. Yeah, Iron Hands. I would love to see them release some good kits for Iron Hands with more of the augmetics. You know, that could be
These are
really
the
cool.
hands that are made of
But yes,
iron.
chapter tactics, you get a full representation without having to go, man, I'd like to play, I think I'd like Dark Angels. If you're going from a role point, you can actually see some stuff like that instead of going and getting a second. Then we have the create your own chapter.
Yes, just like to create your own dynasty. That's going to be the thing going forward.
And so
I wonder if you'll create your own craft world later, or create your own.
I'd be crafty. I'd have a basket
craft the
weaving.
world.
Yeah.
Create your own
jam, a home canning, jam making craft world. Yeah, honey. An apiary craft
These
world.
are all our local honey.
Yes.
I hear that helps with their Eldar allergies.
Yeah, Eldar allergies. Yeah,
Really
if you have if it flares up whenever a hive world is nearby, you know,
a pollen world.
Yeah.
Their problems.
So you've got really cool chapter tactics that everything from like a sort of an improved bolter drill to I like this one, long range marksman where you get you add 3 inches to your range. That's pretty cool. You've got preferred enemy. You've got whirlwind of rage.
Whirlwind.
Yeah. So you have your ability to create your chapter. Again, you can look and see, you know, something you like if there's specific fluff you like, or it's like, hey, I've never seen Space Marines in this color.
Whoa.
Las rifle, that'd be like a.
I mean, yeah, we have laser pointers.
You go to cheaper than dirt and get las rifles.
We can get you las rifle all day long.
We have really cool chapter. We have chapter tactics for chapter masters, masters of sanctity, and masters of the forge in a crusade list.
So you can upgrade all your. Fancy
So yeah,
weapons.
so I think it'd be kind of funny if you only had like executives in your crusade army.
Yes, I mean, yes.
Blood Angels and Dark Angels will get more stuff. I think that's going to be a 2021.
Dark Angels are 2020. Dark Angels are 2021. They're going to be January.
Yeah.
Blood Angels are coming out this year. I would be stunned if they did not release a set of data cards to go with the supplements. So yes.
I mean, even if they only last for that first release and then they become expensive on eBay.
They're still almost certainly going to have their own agendas and special.
There's too much going on with Dante and all those guys.
And Blood Angels will probably have their own psychic.
I also like that you can.
I'd be shocked.
In your crusade rules, you can boost up your apothecary.
You can have your chief apothecary.
So yes, here we have stratagems. Stratagems are cool. What I really enjoyed, and this is one of those things where I wasn't paying attention when I was reading this, and I was like, wow, these first stratagems, they seem to be like having to do with the fight, and the other ones are supplies. Well, it tells you.
Because they're in
battle tactic stratagems, epic deed stratagems, which I really like these. My favorite being commanding oratory.
Whoa.
Fueled by battlefield adrenaline, the chaplain recites his litanies with even greater fervor, inspiring the warriors around him. And there's.
Do you think he's on there with the?
You pass a bunch of your command rolls.
His litany goes up to 11.
Yeah, I would say so. He just has he plugs in an extra speaker.
Why don't you just say it goes to 10?
And you have, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, it's by reading. I'm turning a lot of pages. You have lots of stratagems. Warlord traits again. It was one of those ones where I was like, I'm gonna find one warlord trait I like. There's too many pages of warlord traits that I do like. Stealth adept. The warlord slips to the enemy territory like a specter. Unless this warlord is the closest eligible target, enemy models cannot target it with ranged attacks.
He gets old lookout sir roll.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You have hilariously cool.
You get something called a Purgatoris.
Did you see the Reliquary of Gathlamor?
It's not as cool as a Purgatoris. Maybe a Purgatoris Rex.
How about a Ghost Weave Cloak? Or the Honor Vehement?
Does the Purgatoris have a hard time holding his bolter with his tiny arms?
That is an 18-inch range pistol 3 strength 5.
Oh, pistol! He can hold that in his tiny
strength 5
arms.
AP -3 damage 2 pistol.
Does he need to hold it in both of his tiny arms though?
Let's see if it says. Purgatoris epitomizes the very warriors who willed it. So maybe. Yeah. All right. We have psychic powers back, and if you are coming from like 5th edition to 9th, everything's been toned down. It's a little it's
psychic
not
phase is a little less.
So it's there, and I kind of like that. We have a bunch of cool chapter approved rules if you're playing let's see if I can read this right.
Crusade boys.
Agent, yeah. If you're playing if you have the right keywords, you have some cool. Purge the enemy is one where it's boosting your victory points at the end of the battle.
Yeah, you get to choose new secondary objectives.
And you have these cool Oaths of Moment ones where you can choose your Oath of Moment for the battle. There's too much stuff in this codex. Actually, this is maybe the densest Space Marines codex that there is.
It's not fucking
rules-wise. It used to be a whole lot of fluff.
Well, there's also 83 pages of data sheets coming up.
We've got more Crusade rules. Most of what we've been turning through have been lots of Crusade stuff. Let me get ahead to some of my other flags.
But do they get to have sweet names for their guys? No.
No.
Well, not as cool as Necrons. I think that's what we've established.
Joe. Okay, so
Necrons,
one of the cool things that really got me
acid.
One of the things that really got me spit acid. Yeah, they can take your memories. I'm really looking forward to some more stuff. Maybe building some stuff around Phobos Marines because one of the first things that I saw was
because it's spooky time and those are spooky
Marines.
Marines.
Like a captain in Phobos armor has the Omnis Scrambler, which is enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches of this model. However, he also has an ability called Concealed Positions. Concealed Positions, during deployment, when you set up this unit, if every model in this unit has this ability, then it can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone.
Didn't I tell you my
creepy. Sit down. It's like, no.
That's my not Alpha Legion.
Yeah.
Primaris army is all Phoboses.
Yeah.
So they can be like, fuck you get your deployment zone and that's it.
Yeah. There's some, there's some really cool, and there's a lot of stuff we already knew. There's a lot of stuff we've seen. I like to be knowable. I don't want to surprise anybody. There's a lot of stuff we know here. I have some, let's see. So this was way earlier today. Let's see some things that I thought were worth noting. Okay, first of all, Primaris Chaplain on a bike. I just want to talk about that model. Primaris Chaplain on a bike. Everyone should own one.
Can we get everyone else and their dog on a bike?
I don't know.
My captain on a bike.
But it is also fun that the chaplain, the little chaplain, he's over here, 5 power level. He's cute, you know?
But like right now, you have this cool army and you can make white scars and you got a bunch of bikes and you got a bunch of ATVs and you got a bunch of land speeder and you got a sweet chaplain.
Yeah.
And then you got just captain, like, oh wait, guys!
It's somewhere.
I forgot my bike!
Somewhere you have a unit of old scouts. They're like, we were cool. Remember when we won tournaments?
Hey, remember when scouts got moved to elite and they didn't get a second wound? And
yeah.
They're laughably bad now?
Yeah. And then again, so here's a question. Yes. The ancients that were back in Dark Imperium, have they ever come out? Have they? They've not.
Oh, you sweet summer child. No.
I wondered. I didn't know if I missed something, but those ancients that were great, that could, because the ancients were cool because they had the banners. It was like, one of the other things about the ancients, especially the Blade Guard, it's that apocalypse style that I wish more 40k was, where it was, here's all the wounds. These guys are going to die at the end of this round, but they're also going to fight first. And I always thought that was cool.
You have to slap a flag on some cool
You do, but that's okay. And then jumping ahead into some of your other cool Blade Guard Veteran Squad. Oh, they're awesome. The models are amazing. You have the Blade Guard veterans are the Primaris Terminators. They are 3 wounds, strong. Most of them, I do like the pistol and the shield. Like that idea.
Did you see how they're doing storm shields now, and this general trend of the 3-up invuln save is going away?
Yeah, but you get a little boost.
real hard to get a 3-up invuln save now.
It is. I do like the idea of a Neo-Volkite pistol. Oh. Yes, you can tell some of these Marines have fought alongside of mechanics.
That sounds like a Belisarius call special.
Well, it's one of those things where you can see these Marines like,
oh God, you gotta fly.
Okay,
what's up, Vice President?
I'm gonna have to drink that away.
I'll stay away.
But you've got the Space Marines fighting with mechanics. Hey, that robot had that. No, don't touch it. It's probably bad. No, I want to pick it up. It's gonna be really cool. But we've got, and it's kind of cool. I mean, there's still, from all the talk of the little Marines are going away, they're keeping them.
They gave them 2 wounds.
Well, and everything has fairly comparable power level, and points. They're keeping them relevant. So if you have a little Marine army, they're not. It's not like you're not out.
Wounds.
Yeah. And your Terminators have 3.
3 wounds.
Yeah. Oh, that was my thing. Terminators, 3 wounds on my Terminators.
They're fancy boys now. So wounds.
Oh, and the good old Ironclad Dreadnought's back here. He's here with his toughness 8.
Hey,
You know?
sturdy boy.
Yeah, that was when I got real nostalgic when I found my Ironclad Dreadnought, because that was one of those models I bought way back at Field Up. So here's one in the Fast Act: the Storm Speeder, Hail Strike, Thunder Strike, Hammer Strike. Those are not yet, are they?
They're not.
Okay.
That's the new them and the whatever. That's like the fly fast.
Yeah,
tanks,
the
and there's
Primaris land
not
speeders
yeah.
are really cool, and they have Onslaft Gatling cannon here,
Onslaft.
heavy 8, but you give them I think it's White Scars that don't suffer penalties on moving with their heavy stuff.
Well, none of them do.
Yeah,
They don't for assault.
oh these, okay.
No, vehicles don't suffer penalties for moving
or
and shooting
it's
heavy weapons.
White Scars and Raven. I don't know if it's White Scars and Raven Guard, because I don't want to flip all the way back.
Far away,
You can
there's a lot of
turbo,
pages
you
there.
can advance all the way and then fire.
White Scars.
Yeah.
They advance
Yeah.
and don't suffer the penalty.
Thunder
Rapid
Strike.
for assault weapons.
Thunderstrike has the twin Icarus rocket pod with heavy 2d3
You're an
blast.
Icarus.
That's cool. And then, hang on, I have something else in our data sheets that are awesome. What is it that was cool? It was the Gladiator Reaper with the
also
twin,
not out yet.
the twin heavy Onslaft Gatling cannon at heavy 24.
That's a good number.
There is something.
24 is a fun
There
number.
is something that will always. I think the thing that will always keep me coming back to 40k is the Gatling cannon and the handful of dice I get to roll for one weapon.
Shuka, shuka,
It can
shuka,
be
shuka,
a
shuka.
shitty weapon, but if I can roll,
That's strength 6, AP -1.
I know. I'm saying it
complaining
could
about
be.
that.
Yeah. So we've got. I mean, and so there's. What's also cool is
It's fun to roll 24 dice.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story.
I also like it how instead of in older codexes when models aren't out yet, they give you like this real sort of hastily thrown together like rule set with like a tiny with no model. It's like, well, there's at least a piece of something you could expect.
Well, they learned after Chapter House. I think they learned some important lessons about putting out
Sure.
rules with no models and such.
Vindicator's still around. I always like to
It
Vindicator.
got its shield back.
Yeah, he did.
And it's got its shield. It does something again.
His 3-up save and add 1 to any armor saving throw. Yeah.
Its shield is cool,
Yeah.
man.
So if you are thinking
Last
space, well, and if you're thinking Space Marines are Space Marines, it's like, why would I want to play them? This is actually, I feel like this codex is
hefty.
there's a lot going on.
I'll point out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Can they
There's a
see
good-
that? I
there's
don't
a
know if they can
good
see that.
8
It's like
difference.
half again as all that.
Yeah. But I mean, I also like that they're really leaning into the fact that people might want to make their own chapter. Or I guess, let me rephrase that. People have always made their own chapters. Now they're giving the community some coverage.
Everything they need.
Yeah. So I still don't quite understand unless you're really playing scenario heavy stuff, the fixed position guns, unless you really got something coming.
So the bunker and shit that's coming out, like,
Yeah.
I don't care or want it for like what it does in
the
the game.
Hammerfall bunker.
Oh, but it looks so cool. I want it for like a terrain piece.
I also
And,
like the
will
fact
not
that I
have
can
rules
shoot a
and
super
everything.
frag or a super crack.
Super frag, super frag. He's super fraggy.
A super frag missile with a
Not
heavy
gonna-
2d6.
I'm not gonna get in on my super freak.
No, I've had a little bit to drink. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
There's no wrong thing.
Yeah, no, but
on Warhammer.
and like the bunker didn't get me as much as that. Just the dude sitting in the with the lads.
Well,
with
that's
the
what I'm
twin-
saying. I want to make it as like a point for like a narrative game,
Sure.
but I don't want to use it for a game. Can we talk about novels now?
Yes, we
Because
can.
up
Well,
next is Warhammer
do we?
book.
Are we breaking before or after books?
After books.
Okay.
I want to talk about no
Because
veils.
I also want to say this: freaking Thunderfire Cannon is still right there being francast. I just want it to go away. All right, so we're going to talk about.
We're gonna have a little Warhammer book
I am
club section.
so dry. I'm on second
Well,
break.
then we need to get through this, and you need to talk about books and whatever. So, oh yeah, right. There's gonna be a Dune tangent. Sorry in advance.
I saw that on the text. And I'm like, what
fuck
the
you. I've been
hell?
thinking about it.
I'm
a
gonna
lot
leave
lately.
early while
You can't.
while you do.
Everyone go
tangents.
upstairs. So after this book club, there's gonna be like an hour-long digression on Dune, and everyone can just leave.
Is it about the movie?
No, it's about the book. Shut up. I've been rereading the books. We're gonna talk about Dune, and you're gonna sit there.
No, I'm not.
And you're gonna like it.
You just said that we're gonna all leave and you're gonna talk
You
about
don't
Dune.
see the fact that there's a handcuff on the chair down here you're attached to, bolted to the floor. We're gonna talk about Dune.
Robert Riggs is gonna make like this crazy suppressant that we're gonna put on you.
Whatever.
About
It's a small digression
Okay.
about Dune that could be a long
So,
digression if I hated everybody.
before you all leave, we're gonna
Thank
give
God,
you
you're gone already.
at least what we think. If you're gonna read some Warhammer 40k, 30k, 40k, lore. Maybe we're gonna give you at least our 3 favorites.
We're gonna do a little book club time. So I read this. This just came out. This Infinite and the Divine in my Necron celebration, and this could be subtitled "Two Grouchy Old Bastards Fight for 10,000 Years." And I love everything about this book. It's so good. They clearly decided to let the Xenos authors like off the chain.
I like this guy. I haven't read anything by this guy yet, Robert.
Right? He's done not a lot so far, but so far so good. So it's all about Trazyn the Infinite, who we will talk obsessively about on this program.
We've covered him.
And Orican the Diviner, who can do cool seeing the future and going back in time nonsense. And they hate each other. And they're just mean. They're the Stettler and Waldorf of fucking 40K.
But they also just try to kill each other constantly.
They constantly try to fight each other, but they can't kill each other because they're Necrons. So the whole story is them fighting over the course of 10,000 years because they're trying to like both find the MacGuffin, sort of at the end of it. And it is a riot. They are dicks. They're childish to each other, and it's neat to see these like ancient figures. You also get a lot of neat insight into Necrons, into stuff that happened before when they were still fleshy dudes. You get a bunch of cool trends for that. But mainly you're there to just see the mean things, and they're constantly one-upping each other and getting the drop on each other.
Building on some of the Trazyn talk from 2 weeks ago, I'm not very far in. I'm about a third of the way in. One of the things I did enjoy, because one of my favorite things about Trazyn is his museum house, is that apparently he set a bunch of, I guess we call them menials, he programmed them to build perpetually up and out.
Yeah.
And so he's like, he wanders through his house. He's like, oh, this room's cool. I'll leave it. Oh, but this one's cool. I could put this in here. And then also, we talked last time about some of the things he has. In this book, he has a Jokera weaponsmith.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, because they got to the Cork.
Yes.
But apparently in this book, if I remember correctly, the Cork will salute him when he comes in. When he sees it will salute him. And it talks about all the cool stuff. But they added the little Jokera weaponsmith. I was like, well, I mean, that makes sense, but but he also doesn't quite know what to think of this simian. The moment that I associate with Trazyn the most is he's talking about, so it's like it starts out 10,000 years ago, right? So the Crusade's going on, and he's talking about how humans are so boring because they just expand. Then he talks about getting to the Horus Heresy, and he's this giant Horus Heresy fanboy, and it felt like me reading the first Horus Heresy novel, because he's like, oh shit, there's drama now, and brother on brother. He's like, he just can't stop watching the show. He's got his like Necron popcorn, and he's got the Crusade, the Horus Heresy. These remembrancers really know what they're doing.
And he's like, I love what this is interesting. It's magical. And he talks about, he has his almost full collection of Space Marine Legion helmets, when there's only 20 to get. Yeah. And he's like, oh, that's great. And then later on, he's like, there's like 1,000 of these fucking chapters. And he can't
hold on. Did we talk about, does he have 20?
He says he almost has a full collection of the Legion. But I love that later on, there's...
That's GW going.
Yeah, that's what they do. But then later, there's 1,000 chapters, and he's like, what the fuck? I gotta make a bigger display for this shit.
I think this is a Warhammered first. I don't have any left.
Well, you went too fast. This book, if you like Necrons and you want a book that's not real serious and a lot goofier,
and it's not really Bolton-born.
No, it's not. It's both nonsense, and they constantly talk about how both Orican and Trazyn hate fighting. Yeah. And they're just sort of forced into it, but they kind of suck at it. And you know what I also really liked? Constant goofy measurements. Everything's in cubits and kef and whatnot.
Well, and also
all these weird Necron measurements.
You can elaborate also on the chapters being pieces of play.
Oh, yes, there's all these like little sections of like a play in the front of it, and they talk about like they go to a human play at one point, and they're like, don't worry, it's not very long, it's just like 5 hours long, because like the Necron giant work is like 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like the constant joke that everything they do takes forever because they're immortal is chef's kiss.
All right.
So good.
So that's our book. Are we going back and forth?
Yeah, Infinite and Divine.
All right, so
that's all I got.
Read
what you're talking about.
I thought we were doing 3.
I thought we were doing 1.
Okay.
I just have 1 book.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give you a 40K, and then we're gonna talk a little bit of Horus Heresy. All right. So first of all,
I can talk about Dune.
You get Dune. So
you
great.
Sit the fuck down and listen
so here's the deal. So if you want, switch over back to the Imperium. And I didn't know this until recently, but it originally came out in 2004. Dan Abnett wrote a novel called Double Eagle, and it recently got reprinted. It is really freaking cool. It takes place during the Sabbath World Crusades, and it is all Imperial Navy flyers. It is Vander Markwall, who is a noob pilot fighting, Chaos. Oh, what's the Chaos fighter that's in Forge World? Hellblade.
Sure.
I think.
Sounds
but
great.
of course, his name is Krell.
Oh, that's good.
And he always stayed, and it's really cool because he's always hooked up to something life support wise. But anyway, it's this cool story. So there's this at the core, it's a newbie pilot and this Chaos bad guy, and it's a cat and mouse game. However, if you're a fan of like World War II stories, this is the 40K version of every World War II like glory movie you've ever seen. Like there's like the Pilots Club, where there's the pilot with one eye, and he's I've seen everything. There's the salty guy. There's the broken pilot. But like, it's got like this that I haven't read a lot of the 40K stuff. I've read a lot of the 30K, but it's got this like the book enjoys itself. It's got this kind of decadence to it, where it really leans into that kind of stylized noirish, like the main pilot. It's got that Clark Gable kind of all right, say I'm new, but I'm here to stay, but it's really good. It's also it's I thought it was going to be too long. It's a thick book, but
is it thick with 2 C's
and even a lowercase c?
Oh,
a third
3 C's
small
total.
C. Yeah,
two
no,
big
it's
C's
a long novel,
C's.
but it's Dan Abnett, and he can. And what's always weird though is
he writes those fuck off Gaunt's Ghost novels, and I just fucking tear through the damn thing.
And,
I know.
And the other thing, one of my favorite things that people have talked about, the Dan Abnett thing, where it's like you don't know what's happening for 5 chapters until finally he slows down.
Dan Abnett can write as many pages as he goddamn wants.
And it's really good. Double Eagle. The book
Two
is,
Eagles.
Yeah, Double Eagle. It's really cool. It's actually what led me to buy that stupid, expensive Savage Worlds silk map.
I have a Savage World silk map.
And that's
did you buy the regimental badges?
I
sir?
did not, because they didn't have anything.
You were a fan.
They didn't have anything for the flyers. So,
but
that also is, again, that's one of those gateway stories, because now I'm starting to look at all this Savage World stuff.
You mean the 3 feet of Gaunt's novels that
right?
you can get
Which I haven't actually messed with yet.
I've read every one of them. Keep reading them, they're good.
So what we'll say is, you probably recommend the Gaunt's novels.
If you want to get into, we can talk about Gaunt. I want to talk about Gaunt a little bit.
Because I figured, because I was like, we could pick 3 books. I assumed you would pick Gaunt and Eisenhorn.
Well, that would make sense. I thought we were going to do this regular, and I didn't want to.
I just didn't come up with. I've got 2 other titles. So talk about Gaunt, or talk about your favorite Gaunt, or the reason people should read Gaunt.
God, I don't have a favorite Gaunt. There's so many Gaunt. If you get into the Gaunt series, sorry, because there's 3.5 feet of Gaunt.
That's just like the Horse Heresy.
It's so good, but they don't suck in the middle. The thing I love about the Gaunt's novels, so it's all the story of this commissar, and he joins this regiment, the Tanith First and Only, and they're the first regiment from this planet that's totally Welsh. It's like they're a bunch of Welsh people. It's stereotypically whatever. That they're cool. But their planet gets effed in the A.
Do they have the dragon?
Yeah, they got a lot of woad tattoos and shit. Cool. So I mean, they're doing things.
Cool.
And bagpipes.
Yeah.
They have the Tanith pipes.
Sure.
But they're super T. Anyway, they're this cool regiment, but their planet gets effed in the B, right, by chaos as soon as. So he's only able to get like this one regiment and change off. So it's like, that's why they're the first and only. They're this one regiment of Tanith, and that's it. Their planet's fucked and all dead. And so then they go off and fight. So there's all these cool characters, but the thing that Dan Abnett does, because they're just war movie books.
Yeah.
The thing that he does well is, at the beginning, they get into the big fight. And you're like, everyone's going to be fine who's got a name, right? Even though people are getting fucking annihilated left and right. But in the first fight, everyone with a name is safe. At the end of the book, fucking characters die. Yeah. Major characters. Like, the only one that you feel safe about is Gaunt, because his name's on the cover of all the books. But just people die, so you get really stressed.
I mean, I think it'd be funny if by the end of the series, Gaunt is just a ghost.
Gaunt. But you get really stressed by the end of every book because there's this big fuck off serious fight, and you're like, who's gonna die? I want to make sure he's safe. He's my favorite guy. Anyway, Gaunt's Ghost novels real good. I was ready to be done, and then you're like, tell me about Gaunt.
Well, I thought we were going to talk about the books after the break, but we're talking about books now.
Talking about books, and then we're going to talk about Dune.
All right, so you talked about Gaunt. I'm gonna give you. I'll just do my second 2 tie-in real quick.
Have a shitty tiny Dune tangent.
Because my second.
Fist.
How much do you have left?
None.
Well, see, this is poor
I'm
planning.
as dry as Arrakis, sir.
This is poor planning on your
I'm
part.
as dry as Arrakis.
So
It's a Dune reference.
I'm gonna give you two. You know I haven't read Dune.
You haven't read Dune?
I was about to read Dune and then I read The Expanse instead.
The spice must flow.
Because I made a good choice.
You did. You should read some 70s Dune, man.
I will. I gotta finish. Well, I guess that last book's not out yet, and it's bothering me. So here's the deal. So I'm gonna give you my.
Break now?
We can break now.
Before the Dune tangent? We're gonna leave them in suspense for the.
I mean, and people also want to probably. No, they don't want to know what I have to say. But I've got two things. I'm gonna give you my book thing. Here's my book thing. All right. Double Eagle. I really actually.
We already talked about Double
I had
Eagle.
to stretch to find. That was my 40K one. That's really it. So, two books that you should read. One is called Horus Rising. Horus Rising is the beginning of the Horus Heresy. It is Dan Abnett. He took a paragraph from second edition fluff with no elaboration and started a. Did they get to 40 books?
They get to like 50 books.
Before the Siege of Terra?
They get to like 50 some books.
Which I still say there's.
We're getting to Roman numerals that I were not familiar with.
I still say there's more good ones than bad ones.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But there's a lot of bad ones.
Okay, so Horus Rising, I've read I think at least 4 times because I've read those first 3. But
I was the day Horus slew the Emperor.
That's I mean, Gabriel Loken's awesome. But like it kicks off that first trilogy. For me, I always think of it as like the first 5 are really actually you could say 6 because of Legion. Like the first 5 or 6 are incredibly solid. You sometimes have to pick and choose, but Horus Rising makes that whole world accessible. Oh no, because 6 is Legion, is it? Because it's
somewhere in there's Legion.
Because Eisenstein is 4, Fulgrim is 5, and Legion is 6.
That sounds right. Sure, I don't know.
Because Fulgrim, that's a really good book.
There's something the Abyss and
Battle of the Abyss, and it's it's unless you're really feeling like if you want to drink a whole lot and comprehend a story, that's what you would comprehend in a drunken stupor is all you need. Because there's a world eater. That's the thing about that book. That book is but there's a world eater that's really cool in that book. It's the one that gets loose. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, I try to get at least one thing. Anyway, so Horus Rising has to be a favorite. Okay. My last one. Ready? It's Horus Heresy. It's the one that I think is a really good standalone. It's No Fear.
No Fear.
Because you can come in because it's the Battle of Calth, and the book it is Dan Abnett again.
It's almost like he's their best author.
But this is weird. This is the one that really threw me off because it's not Dan Abnett 5 chapters before you know what's happening. You know, because he starts with a summary. He's like, by the way, if you haven't been following along at home, here's the Horus Heresy to this point.
In a nutshell.
But
what am I doing in this book?
But for No Fear being the book that I feel like when it came out, people were like, oh, great, Ultramarines, woo. You finish the book and you're like, Ultramarines are the best!
It did make Ultramarines.
Because Robo Gilliman is awesome. And also it has 2 of my favorite characters that will show up later in the show. And so, Horus Rising, No Fear, because I thought we were doing 3 favorite books.
I did not think that.
So you know what? I'm gonna go get a drink while you talk about Dune.
No, we're talking about Dune when we come back. Fuck you. You sit here for Dune.
You
You sit here for Dune. Okay, great. 10-minute break.
10-minute break.
10-minute break, and then Dune.
Yeah, great.
God, you were gonna sit here and talk about fucking Dune for a while. because of this, but I'm gonna keep this short. So a whole little masterpiece theater, but I don't want it to drown out my wit and brilliance here.
We can also only put 15 seconds in it.
You're right. Otherwise, it's fair use before this point. So I've been rereading the Dune novels, and I've torn through Dune, and I've torn through Dune Messiah, and I'm working on Children of Dune right now. And I have forgotten, because it's been so long since I've read Dune, how much Games Workshop has just flagrantly stolen from Dune. It is hilarious. Like, you know that they have a lot of homages in Games Workshop, right? Like, that's a thing that they do. But holy balls, it is so much. There's this, mutated navigators that use their crazy psychic powers to travel their ships around. The Imperium that's doing everything. They have las guns. They have everything. It's just obviously that it's magical, in fact, to go through and see how much of this that they've done. And I was so excited to tell Robert all about it, and then he crushed me because he hasn't read Dune, the seminal works of there. But I just, and there's so many, and I now wish for more than anything that I'm going to play Chapter Master Duncan Idaho, because Frank Herbert's a weird fucking dude, and that's what he decided to name one of his characters. But yeah, that's really all I had to say about Dune. It wasn't actually that much. I just wanted to do the thing. But hi, Robert. Are you back?
Yeah, I might have.
It was a trap. We're talking about Dune.
I might have just been like the most comfortable I've been in years.
That,
all that beanbag.
I know that would be
like that was something.
We would be on a scale of 1 to useless. We'd be toads useless.
I also can't be completely gone because my whiskey was right here.
It is right there.
So that's your problem.
So many las guns in Dune.
Yeah. Okay.
They actually have las guns.
Sandworms. I know that.
There
I
are
know
no
that's the
sandworms
thing.
in 40K.
I know there's sandworms
There
in
are
Dune and
sandworms.
Star Wars.
And Duncan Idaho's.
Duncan Idaho, like the state?
Yeah, his name. There's a major character in this sci-fi series from the 70s named Duncan Idaho.
I know.
Because Frank Herbert was weird. It's actually a very good series, except for whenever he writes a woman, and then it gets a little
Okay.
a little cringy. It turns out it was the past.
All right.
So we're gonna talk about some dream shows. Oh, we want to talk about shows.
I know that was part of the book thing, and then we ran out of booze because we planned poorly.
We did plan poorly. We're bad at it.
All
Look
right.
at how many drinks I have now. One of them's water.
All right, so
TV shows.
yeah, so we have coming from Amazon Studios at some point, Eisenhorn.
Yeah, and I will tell you, the notion of an Eisenhorn TV show means that I cannot stand up right now.
So
That's there you go. We're normally not supposed to hit the table, but for that.
So if we get some of the production value we've seen, man, I
get the vapors.
yeah. I wonder if that could lead to like a Ravener spinoff.
Ah! Ah!
All right, so
Stop saying these
so we have
sexy
that.
words, you beast.
my mind. But there's an animated one coming from Games Workshop
There's an
Studios.
animated one that's all blurred angels, and they're gonna
Right.
angel their bloods all over the blood.
There is, if you haven't on the YouTubes, look up the show Astartes.
Oh,
It's I think it's maybe 10 minutes total.
yeah, they're weak.
It's
no,
5.
I think it's more than that.
Maybe
But
10, 15 minutes.
Each episode
It's
is
this-
very short.
it's
There's
one
only
guy.
5 episodes.
And he's got a little 5-part, I don't know, you could call it a season, but oh man.
Dude, yes! You're talking about Dune! Oh, get the fuck out! We're
Okay.
talking about Dune! No. Yes! Yes! I forgot about the fact the whole Valerian Crusade, where like they fought
Is that
AI,
a character
evil
name?
AI.
Larry Crusade?
No, Butlerian.
Butlerian.
Butlerian, like Butler. Butlerian.
But with an emphasis on the butt. Butlerian.
Crusade has nothing to do with butts.
Butlerian, the
But they fought,
Crusade.
he points out they fought evil AIs in the
Ah.
past, and that's why the Imperium doesn't have thinking machines, and then they have mentats instead.
Is this the story based on the board game, dude?
Yes, they made the board game, dude. Shut the fuck up! Oh, you Philistine.
Yes. Fine,
You did decide to read the Expanse.
I know.
Which are in every way better than
I
the
will
series.
never
Sorry.
be like, sorry, I didn't read Dune. No, I read The Expanse.
It's fine.
And it became my favorite book series.
But we get to read Oscar Isaac and his sexy beard.
I'll get there. I'll just watch the show. Wait,
But no skin.
Jason Momoa's in the show though.
Jason
isn't he?
Momoa.
Yeah.
I believe he might be. He's either Gurney or Duncan Idaho. I forget which one.
Yeah.
He's one of those two. But you know who's not in this version? Sting. And that's a goddamn shame.
Yeah, I know. I
Because
might.
he was so good.
That popped
He's
up
so
on
good.
either Netflix or Amazon Prime recently, and I was
The
one of those.
old dude?
Yeah, I was real close.
There's a part where Sting's like, the only good Atreides is a dead Atreides.
Did he sing about a brand new day?
Shoots up some. I wish.
About our desert rose?
Oh, it would be so good.
So back to
I don't think that character is even going to be in the new movie. Shut up. We're not talking about
back to
Disney.
Warhammer shows. Yeah, so we know Eisenhorn is going to show up at
Oh, it's so good.
some point. If people would stop sucking about COVID and let us get our shows back, we're gonna get. We got the animated show coming.
Yeah.
Blurred
Angels.
Isn't there something coming
It's
from?
like a anthology series. Too.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be happening.
If you get online, look up Astartes. It's an amazing 15 minutes. It's really cool.
But we're gonna talk about what shows we
Yeah.
would want.
I mean,
Horus Heresy.
I know.
Amazon or Netflix show.
I remember watching when I read like the first 3 or 4 chapters of Horus Rising. It's like, oh, this is all ready to go. You know, I mean, I just kind of was like, I mean, if HBO could give it a budget, you know, it's got, because the Horus Heresy does have, I mean, and it's got some really freaking powerful women characters in it. So there is enough. There's like a spread of characters.
Ladies in their thing.
Yeah, no, a Horus Heresy show. I always kind of envisioned it like if the first season could cover like the chapters that fall or the legions that fall, and like grab those first 5 or 6 books.
Yeah.
Because they say no Garo being the 6 is he's my homeboy.
And then we can have a whole spin-off series all about how the Dark Angels and the Night Lords do fuck all.
I mean, I feel like if they were gonna make like if they wanted to do a standalone movie, Rin's World.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it's an
really
Alamo.
wanna get-
It's the Alamo.
It is. It's fine. You get a little.
If you want to have that. I mean,
There's
granted,
a lot of famous battles that you could do.
yeah. I would like to see, in the spirit of, if you haven't looked it up yet, in the spirit of the upcoming MODOK television show, I'd love to see that with like orcs.
Oh my God! Like an orc cartoon.
Or like a Gene Stealer cult stop motion show. Like,
that just seems weird.
what about like a
That gets really dark.
or like a Necromunda comedy in the style of It's Always Sunny?
I can see a lot of Necromunda.
Yeah.
A lot of Necromunda things
Yeah.
in there. Or a police procedural.
Oh hell yeah!
I can see that.
Well, with those new crime novels they're writing,
Right? Because then,
tong tong.
guess what, Warhammer? You're allowed to say fuck.
Yeah, that's.
Huzzah!
It's like when the Expanse moved from sci-fi to Prime, and Krista Avasarala really
She's like,
just let us have
cocksucker!
it. Yeah,
What's up?
just let us have
She's
it.
like, I'm gonna channel
Yeah.
my inner
And she
Al
just-
Swearingen
yeah.
and just let loose.
I mean, could we have Al Swearingen? Could we have Ian McShane?
Did you cast Ian McShane? Because I feel ashamed that I haven't.
I didn't, but you'll know why when you get
Okay,
there.
but we need to talk about who Ian McShane would play.
I mean, I was like, if we could have a show like from like a Horus Heresy like storyline from Malcador's perspective, we could have Ian McShane.
Yeah. Ian
No.
McShane from Malcador's on my list.
Hang on, let
We'll
me
talk
rephrase
about
that.
that.
He's on my list too. But let me just go with this. Ian McShane as fill in the blanks Warhammer character.
Fair enough. I'm on board.
He could play.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
I mean, he could play Gaunt. Couldn't he?
No, I have a good gun.
Okay, I mean, I don't have that. Okay, anyway, so
Ian McShane's too old to play gun.
that's true.
I love Ian McShane.
I would like to see a
Still play
feel-good, inspirational sports movie in the Blood Bowl world
Ah!
because why?
but like characters dying left.
Yeah,
and right.
but like, and while I didn't,
like
because
some poor human just gets
I
annihilated.
cast them, but then I pulled them out because it wasn't the right era. I still need my Bob and Jim, Dave Bautista, and Hank Azaria. So
I
you
would-
have Drax and Jim Brockmeyer.
I would watch the shit out of that.
From their perspective, I would
No,
love
they
to
would
see.
to be fair, they would have to be side characters in a proper.
Right,
role,
but they can
I would
always
watch
set the
them do
scene
that. Yeah.
for each. You know, it's
Oh.
like because like
Like
Al
Madrigal.
Michaels in Miracle, he always kind of pops up throughout the show. But like to have the feel good, scrappy, maybe a scrappy human
Underdog,
team,
Yeah.
but at the end, like the dwarf team that they're really worried about becomes like they're like, hey,
They're all,
you're all right.
they strike their name dramatically from the Book of Grudges.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like when like 3 humans make it off the pitch at the end of the game, it's like you did okay.
They always have to be just fucking
Yeah.
destroyed
Yeah.
by the end.
But
of
like
every
the
scene.
opening 10 minutes, like the sizzle reel, like in a Bond movie, is it's like a dwarf team that's just ripping apart a Stalin team.
Why,
and- and
why do you
human-
not say orcs or like chaos?
Well,
Those
I
are
think it's
big
because I've been
teams.
playing a lot of dwarves.
I mean, dwarves aren't like the kick-ass team.
Oh, but
you
they're fun on
realize.
defense.
Sure, but they're not.
I mean,
They're not the team that beats you up a ton.
except for the fact that all my longbeards have my
This is
glow.
claws.
Okay.
Okay, well, you're making your team weird. Fine. Claws.
My dwarf team is awesome because I'm on the infinite thing. Or you know, watch the downfall of an ogre team.
What's that skill where you get to hit somebody who's you get to roll your thing? Follow on. Pile on. Yeah. Bam.
I don't know. I've been really.
People who don't want to make friends and don't care about.
I've been really enjoying my Dragon Slayers getting out of position and then doing their Dauntless roll and taking stuff out.
Dauntless? Is this Dauntless?
I killed a Croxabor. Yeah, I just took him out.
Is this Dauntless?
Well, yeah, because in the game they go and they get a little chest bump and they're like ah, and they do their thing.
I want to see the chest bump again. There you go. It was good.
Yeah, this is usually just a push, you know. All right, so yeah, that's our. Yeah, there's some shows coming.
Oh, so many good shows potentially.
But they're
don't suck. Don't suck.
Yeah,
please.
Yeah. Give us an Eisenhorn.
Good.
I've always imagined if they were.
I didn't cast Eisenhorn because I'm a failure as a fucking human being.
I didn't because he's just not one of my. He's not.
Yeah, he is one of mine.
But like,
I just failed.
I feel like the Eisenhorn thing could lead into because I've always kind of also imagined a Necromunda like deep like those deep hive world things, hive worlds. Hive world. What do you? Hive spires. Hive spires
on a hive world. Yes.
They could really do like a cool Judge Dredd style.
Oh, I mean,
an Arbitrace that.
Speaking of Dune and them stealing from shit, would you suggest that perhaps they stole a ton from Judge Dredd?
There's an Arbitrace that really there's too much work in this one spider, this one cigarette. You know, and they just can't. It's like I haven't seen outside in a year because there's too many idiots in here.
Like I chose the wrong day to stop smoking.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think also in the spirit of the old Adult Swim, like 5-minute, you know, in between show cartoons, something with like Snotlings.
Oh, I would watch or Grotz.
Yeah, Grotz. Yeah. All right, so that shows. So we've done this at Tabletop a lot. Whenever we've been on downtime, we're gonna talk about we're gonna take our top 10 favorite characters from the Warhammer universe, and we're gonna cast them in a epic mini season made for TV movie.
Yes. Well, this is mine come from all over, so I don't have a lot of consistency in what show they would be in.
Neither do I. I actually went Primarch free. I did not cast Primarchs.
I only cast one Primarch.
Yeah, and I haven't. So my thing.
We could do a whole thing on just casting.
Yeah.
Primarchs,
well, I also feel like that's been extensively done.
Right.
I actually really like 90s famous 90s boy actors being cast as Primarchs because they always cast Brad Pitt as Lionel Johnson because they get the Troy hair.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. There's a thing for me. The thing with the Primarchs is that the way that they're sort of created, you've got essentially the Emperor creating a one-dimensional character that discovers there's more going on in the world, and so I don't know. I think a movie about just Primarchs might not float. You need some of the other guys.
Yeah, there's the reason that in the Horus Heresy series, words are hard. The Primarchs are like auxiliary characters.
Now they're awesome
around the outside. But yeah, but they're too awesome to be like the main.
But and I guess also if you read enough of the Horus Heresy, you realize.
If anyone's watching, Fuck, Marry, Kill, that's coming up next.
Yeah.
Give us some ideas. Benny.
Yeah. Throw some at us and we'll talk about it.
3 things, 3 people, or things, or whatever. We don't care. We will talk about having sex, marrying, and killing anything.
Yeah.
Because we are gross humans.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
But oh no, I had a point.
Well, that's long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Is it about Dune?
It is not about Dune.
Okay. Who are you gonna cast for Duncan, Idaho? That's what I want to hear first.
So
I got my go first because I think yours are way better.
Are you gonna go? Are you just gonna do your whole list?
I was gonna do my whole list, and then you can do your whole clearly better list. But I want mine to be first.
Great. Fine.
All right. So I picked 10 people, kind of at random things that I wanted to see. First is Belisarius Call, and I admit this was sponsored by a lot of Avengers. James Spader.
Okay.
I would see James Spader being a weird robot, but you would get to really lean into it.
Sure.
I see him as Robert California meets Ultron. That's what I want to see Belisarius Call be.
I love it.
So
I don't have a thing. If I had a writing, I would start marking overlap.
Okay.
They're cross-casting.
I wanted to get into this one's a little controversial. Okay. Caiaphas Cain, I wanted to talk about. You know who I really see? Idris Elba. Because you know who I think? He's fuck off handsome. Yeah. He's big and buff and cool. Yeah. But I think he can play comedy. So he's done a couple comedy sort of things.
Ready? That's 2.
2 overlap? Right. We're picking some good characters. This one might, I don't know if this one's next. Ibram Gaunt. Okay. I talk about the famous of the Gaunt's Ghost. and Tom Hardy.
Okay, that's
Oh, I would
three.
watch a Tom Hardy Ghost movie.
That's three.
I just want to see Tom Hardy. It's Tom Hardy because I want to see him with his shirt up to show off his big his big chainsaw
What about-
scar
Well, the other
right
thing that
there.
Tom Hardy does,
I want to see Tom Hardy.
Tom
do
Hardy's like, I gotta make a movie. Hang on, he does a couple ones, and he's got those shoulder muscle things right there.
that. Are you suggesting that we don't have those? Are you
I never would have imagined that we would ever get those, those shoulder things.
shoulder muscles?
Those- They're not. They're the biceps on top. They're the muscles on top of the muscles.
We
Like there's
we're
the vanity.
best at
There's
workouts.
the vanity muscle, and then the I will kill you with a finger muscle, and that's his thing that he's got right there.
Yes, but
Speaking
anyway,
speaking of, hold on. You said Dune. I'm gonna say, where's that second season of Taboo?
where is that second season of Taboo?
If
It's
you
too
haven't
busy
watched
because
Taboo-
Tom Hardy is busy filming Gaunt's Ghost.
Great. Okay.
That'd be great.
So that's
But I
three.
want to see him with a shirt off and a chainsword. Yeah, chainsword. That's the word. Scar on the thing. He has a sexy chainsword.
I'm fine with him with his shirt off. I've got.
Malcador the Siglite.
Okay.
I got on there, reaching way back. Derek Jacobi.
Really?
Yes,
I like it.
you see him in fucking bring him from I Claudius.
Yeah.
That sort of thing mixed with a little bit. Did you ever see Vicious?
I did not, but
So good. Him
but-
and Ian McKellen
sure.
being an old couple. Mostly
I've
Claudius with
read
a little bit
read
of
the
sass.
play it was based on.
A little
I've
bit
not
of
seen him.
vicious sass.
Or kind of when he gets all sarcastic in Gladiator,
Yeah.
or even he's in the second Underworld movie.
We're not.
No.
I
Okay.
don't know. We need to talk about that.
Okay, for me, sorry. Formative Derek Jacobi one for me was Kenneth Branagh's Henry V movie.
Sure.
That was a big deal. But yeah, he was the narrator.
That's what I say. All right. Robert Gilliman, my one Primarch, and only because he's currently extant.
Sure.
Oh, but I did have another one that I was thinking I forgot to add on there. We're going to talk about him too. Daniel Craig. I want to see Daniel
Gilliman?
Craig as Gilliman.
Okay.
I think he'd have the gravitas. I think he'd get
Okay.
good feet, but also a little charming.
Yeah.
I see him James Bond mixed with his layer cake
Sure.
guy.
I-
With a little extra.
I'm so glad. I have this affinity for Layer Cake.
Layer Cake is
So,
a brilliant movie.
That came
I love
out.
That, movie
That
dearly.
came out shortly after I got married, and it was this. There's a lot. I have a lot of feelings with that movie,
Well, I'm here.
and
for
also
you.
with
Here
Chief
for you.
Chief O'Brien being the bad guy.
Yes.
I had Kenneth Branagh. If I was casting Gilliman, I would have been Kenneth Branagh. That was my if I was going to cast him.
And then I forgot. This one's not on my list, but fuck it, I'm saying it anyway. I did 11. Fuck you.
So
you
did I.
can't stop me. Oh, good. Magnus the Red.
Okay.
Ron Perlman.
That's overlap, not Magnus Red, but that's
Have you seen The Last Supper?
Yes.
Movie did? Yes, that guy being all charming and
Yeah.
whatnot, but also has kind of his
Yeah.
face.
Speaking
Anyway.
of Ron Perlman,
Also, I think because he's red in Hellboy, maybe I'm getting a
if
little.
you haven't watched it, I don't remember if you said you watched it because I know I've been trying to get Haley to watch it. Kronos,
I love Kronos.
Guillermo
love
del
Kronos.
Toro's first movie
Yeah.
in which everything's in Spanish except Ron Perlman.
Except for, I've seen that
Because
movie back in the day.
he's sleazy American.
Yeah, I love Kronos.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm on board. All right.
That my favorite Halloween movie is Kronos.
Oh, well,
That's like Hocus Pocus.
that got weird.
It's fine.
That went a weird
It's
direction.
fine. It's funny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, Hocus Pocus is Robert's favorite movie of all time.
It is-
That's what we're getting out of it.
Yep.
So Severina Rain. This one's a little more obscure. If you know, cool Arbites character.
Sure,
She
sure,
got
sure,
a series
sure.
of novels.
Sure.
Scarlett Johansson.
Sure.
And it's 90% because I want to see Scarlett Johansson in a pixie cut wearing Arbites armor and
Great.
kicking ass with a shock ball.
That is actually.
She's also like real, like does not fuck around.
That's
Some
we
problems.
finally broke our
Right,
overlap.
there you go, because I had to go somewhere weird. Gazgul Thraka.
Oh, I want to know.
Vinnie Jones. I want to see Vinnie Jones.
I
do this.
approve.
I want Vinnie Jones to have a lot to say about all you fuckers.
I want.
Now you need to get in there and show these beakies who's
I approve wholeheartedly.
Oh,
I
I
could
wanna-
not, for the life of me, cast an orc. The best I got was when I was like Dave Bautista could be Bob Bifford the ogre.
Sure. But
Yeah.
no, Vinnie Jones as Gazgul. Karn, and this is more because it's funny than anything else. Willem Dafoe. I want him to it's that one that you see the meme picture where
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe's all like, ah!
Sure.
That for Karn.
Sure.
Because I want him to be like real sophisticated
But he'd be-
until he's fucking
and
not.
He would be so ripped. Willem Dafoe ripped out.
Wouldn't it be gross? Oh, you just have so many veins. So I want to see Willem
Which
Dafoe
is
flip
funny
out and kill
because
people.
So that's funny to me because whenever anybody says Willem Dafoe, actually, because I love it so much, I think of The Life Aquatic, so I think of super sensitive, sad Willem Dafoe. You know, why am I always on to B Squad? You know, when he cries, and it's like he's all like introverted. So, but yeah,
But I kind of want there, and then I want like Angron to say something sophisticated, and Willem Dafoe to be like, I'm something of a philosopher myself. A little Boondock
Angron
Saintsy.
says something sophisticated.
Right, well, he gets in there. All right, Erebus, Jared Leto.
Oh,
right?
God.
Because fuck that
Just
guy and
kill him.
fuck that guy.
The worst.
Right? Would you just hate him the whole time because he'd be so gross? I was like,
And he would
who's
be
the sleaziest
And Jared
piece
Leto
of
would be
shit?
continually be like, listen to my new record.
Yes, and that seems just like Erebus. He's like,
Yeah.
no, guys, I totally. I wrote a poem to the Chaos
and
Gods.
he would
It's really
demand
good.
he would demand that you called him Erebus when he's not on set.
Yeah. Oh, you'd be awful. Perfect.
One of my the highlight of Jared Leto's career is him getting the shit kicked out of him in Fight Club.
So one of my friends, Aaron. This is a story that has nothing to do with anything. He ran into Jared Leto at a record store.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who it was at the time. This was back in the day. This was when he was just in. What was the TV show Jared Leto was in? Back in the long ago.
He was not in 90210, was he?
I don't think it was it. Anyway, he was in
It
some
was.
show.
It was one of those.
It was when he was just banned and show.
He was
Jared
in the
Leto.
Hot Boy show.
Yeah, it was a Hot Boy show. But
He
anyway,
wasn't in My So-Called Life.
he was in
Clear
My
Dates?
So-Called Life. That could have been it. That sounds about right. Anyway, he's like in a record store and he's doing the look through the records thing, and then this guy,
Yeah, My So-Called Life.
there,
I need to forget
and
that
then
bit
this
of knowledge.
dude
God.
like comes up and just like butts in next to him where he's trying to look at records. So my friend Aaron is, he's not a real confrontational guy. He moves on to the next, and he's looking through records, and fucking this guy comes in there or whatever. And finally, he's like, "Fucking, I'm out. This fucking guy is annoying the shit out of me, and I hate him." And then his friends are like, "Oh my god, that was Jared Leto." And he's like, "I don't know." So his whole story about Jared Leto is that he is a piece of shit that's ruined record stores. There you are. That's all you need to know about it. That guy's gonna help.
Because I've had my whiskey, I'm gonna tell you my record store story, and I wasn't actually there. So
You get to say nothing about me talking about Dune, Captain Record Store.
Right, listen. Friend of mine was at. Okay, this is it. Friend of mine was at Austin City Limits. He was in a record store in Austin. Robert Plant was in the record store.
Oh.
He calls us on his phone. He's like, "Guys, Robert Plant's in this record store, and I don't know what to do with myself." So we start telling him. He's like, "Dude, go and ask him." Like as we wind on down the road, our shadows taller than our souls. We're like, go ask him questions about Stairway to Heaven, and say, "Hey, aren't you in that band with Alison Krauss?" So yeah. Which has led to me, that just leads to my philosophy, like, if you meet someone that's like that, just don't say anything to them. There's no point. Okay,
So
next.
now we've had record store stories this week, and last week I believe we had an insufferable high fidelity reference and talking about bands. So we're getting to peak.
There will always be
self-indulgence.
music snobbery around. Okay.
Finally, a little John Grammaticus, and I had to film this one because I just needed him to be somewhere.
He's
in
one of my favorite people.
here. Timothy Oliphant.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I can see him be tall, lanky, and a little awkward.
That's not who I cast as John Grammaticus, but that's okay.
Timothy Oliphant makes me feel things.
Okay.
And then finally, a little honorable mention, playing the Emperor himself, current, Stephen Hawking. Oh, it's so immature, but it got you. That's what I wanted.
That's so wrong.
Idiot.
Oh man.
Oh, we just get real shitty by the time we get to the second half. of this show.
Okay. All right. I have
All
a list.
man. Okay, your better list that's gonna be good.
Oh,
Lay it
no.
on me.
Hang on. I thought I almost got rid of it. Did we have pictures for mine? Awesome. All right.
This is also why his is
All right.
better.
So I'm gonna start.
What? Oh, did they show up? Oh, I
Nice.
didn't
All right.
even know.
I'm gonna start with my honorable mention, which is my number 11, Chase. All right. So if you read the Horus Heresy, there is a character. She is a human on Angrog's flagship. Her name is Lotara Sarin.
Oh,
she is the
she's the
one
coolest.
human that does not
Fire the Ass's cause!
She will also, when she gets pissed off in a space marine, shoot in the face. And that is Lotara Sarin, played by Rosario Dawson. Because
I'm on board.
I mean, Rosario Dawson is like, I kind of knew who she was, and then Sin City came out, and she was the best. And she's just cool.
But I need you to say it with me. Fire the... Say it!
Okay, ready? 2, 3.
Fire the... You piece of shit! God,
All right,
word
so anyway, all right. So that was my
Yes,
honorable
it's
mention.
claws!
My honorable mention came first. All right, number 10, Constantine Valdor.
Oh, okay.
I have never. I mean, he's always like, from the first moment he showed up, like, who the hell is that guy?
A cool dude.
And that cool guy is played by Carl Urban.
Ah, I'm glad you got
Yes,
Carl Urban
because, and that was one of the things.
But-
I had like 3 different people
in there.
as Valdor. I had Lucius Varenus.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about from
Ray
Rome. Yeah,
Stevenson and Jason McKidd.
yeah, you got it.
I had him in there for the longest time. But again, I've been watching the boys earlier this summer.
At any point, does he call Erebus the C word? I mean, I presume.
Why wouldn't he? I think, well, anytime, I mean, I feel like he'd call Malcador. It's just, yeah.
Well,
All right.
Did I ever tell you about the time when I came back from England and I just used the C word all the time because I thought it was a normal swear word you were allowed to use?
Usually when you come back, you just talk about the coos.
I love the keys!
All right. Coming off of the Valdor, because I think this would be a great buddy movie, Janicia Kroll, the commander of the Silent Sisterhood.
Who's gonna rock the
with
top
the top knot, the shaved head, Marion Cotillard. Oh, you'll know when you see her. She's got that look because most of the time Kroll has a face mask. She doesn't talk ever. Cotillard, Marion Cotillard. She just has that badass appeal. And there's and if you get to the Siege of Terra, you get Kroll and Aemon. Is it Brother Aemon of the custodians that are hanging out trying to solve some mysteries?
Yes.
Yeah, but I feel like the two of them. There's a scene in one of the stories where Kroll she talks in sign language and she's talking to Valdor, and Valdor is not catching up, and there's a moment where they describe her just kind of going.
Can we have a little aside that will be of no interest to literally anyone on Earth except for me?
Great.
All right. I did not know that Marion Cotillard played Edith Piaf in a film.
That's a really good movie.
Piaf is one of my favorite musicians
that movie,
of all time.
That movie, they actually they had to make her uglier because Edith Piaf had a broken nose, and they had to actually do stuff to her. She got an Oscar for that, or a Golden Globe for that. Yeah,
you need to see this movie. I didn't even know it existed.
It's good.
I love Edith Piaf.
It's very good. It came out. It got overshadowed by Nicole Kidman playing Virginia Woolf. It was that year. Whenever Nicole Kidman was in The Hours.
Anyway.
Yeah, if we want to do some deep movie talking, that's a different show.
Yes.
But we can do it.
What?
All right.
This is not Edith Piaf time?
Number 8. A kind of a deep cut character. His name's Yakton Cruz.
Yeah.
He was a Luna Wolf that was a reluctant son of Horus. He eventually joins the Knights Errant. He takes care of Malcador's prison on Terra. He has always been one of my favorite characters because he's one of the oldest Space Marines, and they make fun of him. They call him the half-herd because he like they talk in the books where he'll just start talking about he's kind of got old stories.
I don't know anything about that.
However,
I don't know anything
Cruz,
about that here.
played by Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah, like I remember the first time I read Horus Rising. That's the first time an actor popped into my head. I was like, that is that guy.
Mads Mikkelsen fills me with all the joys anyway.
It's perfect. Okay, so the Yakton Cruz might be one of my favorite. I mean, he's awesome.
And he gets real cool at the end.
I feel like he's cool all the way through because also
he's sort of the sad side.
Well, but once you get to Galaxy in Flames and Fly to the Eisenstein, he really steps up.
Sure.
All right. So number 7, the first perpetual on my list, all person. Captain or Saint Olennius?
Saint Olennius.
Yes.
Pius.
Yes, Pius Olennius. He pops in and out of Warhammer lore.
Can we give a little background? He deserves his own special thing. So, back in the day, the idea was that like Horus was fighting the Emperor on the Emperor ship, and Horus done fucked up the Emperor.
Oh,
and the Emperor's all like, I'm all beaten. I can't fight my son. And then this one guardsman like steps forward and is like, no, I'll fight Horus. And so it's this rando dude, and he stands up to Horus, and Horus is like, fuck explosion.
And he's played
annihilates him.
And he's played by Ron Perlman.
So
yeah.
So Ron Perlman's like, no, my Emperor. And Horus is like, fuck explosion, and he dies. And that's how the Emperor is like, oh, you shit.
Yeah. And again,
he gets his rally.
That was also one of those things where like if you get to the if you read Siege of Terra, because all persons in Saturday.
Yeah.
And he's.
But they've made him a perpetual. They've done cool things with this really tiny bit of lore, and they brought him in, and now he's really cool. And then he becomes the patron saint of the Imperial Guard.
And
it's a flag.
I mean, I would have Ron Perlman on the flag.
I would have Ron Perlman on the flag.
Number 6, Shira Calpurnia.
I was thinking about putting
my arbitrace of choice, Shira Calpurnia, willing to kill Emperor cosplayers of the Emperor.
Yes.
She has some excellent stories out there. She also has the kind of bowl cut,
Yeah.
and because of Birds of Prey, she's played by Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Ah,
Yeah.
You think she's that awkward?
No.
She can play
No,
badass,
no.
I suppose.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead can play badass.
So, do you want me to admit my really embarrassing thing? Severina Rain is the commissar. I was thinking of Shira Calpurnia when I said the thing, and I failed so bad.
I just figured you had a cool Sisters of Battle movie.
Severina Rain is the commissar. She's a really cool, but she only has a few books.
Oh yeah,
She's real neat too.
I don't have her miniature.
And instantly could. I was absolutely thinking of Shira Calpurnia and I'm intoxicated. So.
Well, I was thinking it'd be Great Facts,
but I didn't want.
I like Shira Calpurnia better. She's
so cool. I love Shira. That's who I meant to put.
But that was, and really, it was once when Mary Elizabeth Winstead, once she moves into her huntress role and gets real physical and starts doing her shit. That's where I'm
when
like,
she gets
that works.
Physical.
You know. All right. So I've got
Robert
my.
will never sing with me. And I'm
I've
very
got
sad
my.
about this.
Well, it's because I'm now. This is getting important. I've got Trays in the Infinite here.
Ooh, okay.
Trays in the Infinite. And I know that we. And I know that we could. I know that this is one of those things where
we've talked about him.
Of course, Trays in
2 episodes.
And this actor, of course, he proved himself as Ultron, James Spader. That's Trays in the Infinite.
I'm on board for that.
Why wouldn't he? All right. Look at that. Yeah.
Tom Hanks, yes, by 6 degrees of separation rules.
I love
Tom
that.
Hanks.
Speaking of that,
did you
reference,
cast Tom Hanks for anyone?
I did not, but that reference of if you haven't seen Forever, that's one of my favorite scenes in that movie. Is that's you want to tell me about your wife with the gardening gloves? No, it's just for me.
I appreciate that we are in a Warhammered podcast and we've talked about Edith Piaf, and also someone else has talked about it, which means it wasn't 100% just masturbatory on my part.
Nice. All right, number 4. Eldrad Uthwan.
Oh, right.
I'm a big fan of Eldrad. I actually started off.
I'm thinking. I've got my idea.
Okay.
Who do you say?
All right. It started out as the idea of Illic Nightspear.
Okay.
Because I think he's cool, but I wanted to give people some of like a story background. Eldrad Uthwan, played by Tom Hiddleston.
Ooh, I like that. I was gonna say when you brought up Hugo Weaving
because that was too easy.
He's already been an elf.
He's
good point.
And physically, he's a little too old.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
I
He's
can see
getting
Tom
a little
Hiddleston. I like that. You're right. You're better.
He was originally my Illic Nightspear. But I was like, but really, when it comes to stories, and when it comes to when Eldrad comes into stories, I stop and pay attention. I mean, except for the fact that Fulgrim almost kills him.
He's gonna drop some knowledge.
Yeah, I think he's cool. That's my slight. I have that little bit of Eldar love. All right, moving on to my top 3 characters in the Warhammer universe. First, John Grammaticus.
Yes, who'd you got? It's not as sexy as Timothy Oliphant, whoever it is.
It's Idris Elba.
Ah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
John Grammaticus, what a perpetual. He's so cool. I really became aware of him in Legion.
Right.
And then he pops, and then I start paying attention where he starts popping up. And the thing is, for me, with him, with Idris Elba, because Legion, he's real. John Grammaticus is real. Like, okay, I'm here. I guess I should make the best of the situation, not get killed. And I feel like Idris Elba could pull that, kind of like he does in The Office, where he's
why has he not gotten more? Like, he was in the Dark Tower series, but it was kind of.
It was just that one movie. Yeah. Because they canceled the show.
Because it was trash.
Yeah.
Why won't he be? Why can't he be as good as he's good?
Well, I mean, you've watched Luther.
You've watched Luther. I've watched Luther. Okay. He's so good in everything he's in.
And I also like the fact that that Idris Elba made just kind of throwaway character Heimdall a huge thing in Thor. Yeah. Because Heimdall was never really. He was just at the gate.
And of course, we can never forget. I'm aware of the effect I have on him.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and that's kind of where it popped into my head because John Grammaticus. I feel like John Grammaticus may have worked in Under Mifflin at some point, just between things.
He was waiting
because he's a perpetual. Yeah. Okay, number 2. Right. My number 2 character in the Warhammer universe, Malkador.
Right.
Malkador the Sigillite. I could never get enough. Not Derek Jacobi. I could never get enough of him. Love the Lightning Tower. Always want to tell people to read it. Tom Waits.
I do not know if I agree with Tom.
So it was. If I wanted to get real serious, I was thinking Anthony Hopkins.
That I can.
But here's the deal: Tom Waits, as like when you get into those stories where like Primarchs are getting pissed off, and you've got Malkador who's like, "Shut up and listen to me." But it's that.
I'm just imagining fucking Malkador the Sigillite with like a steel string guitar, and he's like,
That's the
fell in love with a nocturne.
that's the picture that should be popping up right now.
now.
Did you ever see Domino with Keira Knightley?
Yes.
Where he's like the wandering crazy desert preacher.
Okay.
I don't know, and that's what I was thinking. Because again, it's the oldest man, the one that can stand up to the emperor is Tom Waits.
Fair enough. We've also mentioned Tom Waits now 2 episodes because he was one of our songs.
Why wouldn't we? All right.
Every episode, Tom Waits.
And then number 1, whenever I see him show up, it's the Indiana Jones music. It's Nathaniel Garrow. Starts out as a Death Guard, moves on to the Knights Errant, and he is my favorite character. He's played by my favorite actor, Tom Hardy.
Ah, right on.
Because I can see Tom Hardy dealing with a serious Nurgle infestation. I can also see him dealing with the random shit that goes on. I kind of wanted to put Tylos Rubio in just to see who would hang out with Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was thinking about casting Loken, but I saved my honorable mention. That was Lotaro Sarin. But actually, last night I kept whittling down my list. Garville Loken was on there, but I think Tom Hardy could handle that because I would like, because you know we've seen the movies. Tom Hardy's been in, I don't know, half a dozen movies with his face covered.
Right.
Well, Garrow by this point he gets his fake leg because he gets it blown off in the heresy. So he's had to deal with his augmetic leg. You know, so that's something that he can work with as an actor. I feel like he could choose some scenery.
Okay. But absolutely.
You know, and you've got the Garrow figure. He's all got the shaved head that Tom Hardy kind of rocks.
Right. Yeah.
But the other reason, the reason that really got me for Tom Hardy is I think that as an actor, he would really dig into that whole scene where Dorn punches him across the bridge of the phalanx.
Sure.
And Dorn's like, that should have killed you. And he's like, well, it didn't.
He would also make a really good Sigismund.
That was Sigismund was on here. Sigismund was Timothy Oliphant. Yeah.
That makes me feel nice.
Yeah. So
I would. Timothy Oliphant would be. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So yeah,
that guy is more justified all the time.
Yeah. Old.
I haven't seen the new Fargo. He's in.
Okay. And end of the month, Mandalorian.
Oh, he's gonna be in it. It's gonna be so good. All right.
So yeah, and apparently there's rumors floating around that Tom Hardy's next James Bond.
Oh, I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's
all right.
I mean, I was always voting for Idris Elba, but I mean, between Idris Elba and James Bond, I mean, and Tom Hardy, I question things.
Fair enough.
All right, next, the F, the M, and the K.
F, the M, and the K.
Did you do one?
I did. I do have one.
Okay.
But do we have any suggestions from the audience, or are they all lazy boogers? Lazy buggers! How dare you? All right. So, sir.
Okay.
FMK, the fuck the marry or the kill. Imitate the Stormlord.
He was on last time.
What?
No.
No,
Yeah.
it was just races.
Oh, okay.
We talked about him.
Okay.
Imitate the Stormlord.
Okay.
Xandric. Or Oricon the Diviner. Go!
Okay. I will. I think that I would have to. I don't like. Xandric has never. He's one of the.
You don't like Xandric?
I mean, he's
such a wacky boy.
I think I would take out Xandric.
Or Xandric.
I would spend a weekend with Oricon because I feel like he would tell me some things and we'd have a decent time. And then I feel like with Imatech, I'd just be his the boy next to his throne.
Fair enough.
All right, so hang on. I had one and I lost it. It was not on the right note.
Oh,
okay.
Give me a note.
Here we go. Ready? We're gonna have a Walter and a Primarch sandwich.
Ooh.
We're gonna have Walter. We're gonna have a Horus. We're gonna have
Dreamy lad.
We're gonna have a Horus. We're gonna have an Angron.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna have a Mortarion.
Mortarion.
So 3 of your most notorious Primarchs. We have a Horus, a Mortarion, and an Angron.
All right. So I'm gonna, and this may reflect something about me. I'm gonna go a little off type here. I'm killing Horus. You know, I think he's a little too spirit-tippy to be interesting for the fuck, and I think he would overwhelm me in a relationship. I want to be a partner. I don't want to be that sort of thing. Angron is going to be I mean, I'm just going to hate fuck Angron. It's going to be great. I mean, you know, we're going to have a weekend.
The reverse.
Whatever. The point is, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a wild time.
It's going to be, as we see, it's going to be like through space.
Right, yeah.
Like it's going to be off the side of a spaceship on the way to a planet.
Yeah, because he's going to be on the front of the destroyer in space and whatever with me.
That's still one of my favorite things.
We're gonna do a fucking Titanic.
There's still
on the front. What's the battleship that he's on?
It's not on. Is it on the ship? Is it on the front of his or is it on the Night Lord ship?
I thought it was on the front of his ship. The point is, it's gonna be Angron here and me here, and it's gonna be like near, far, wherever.
Except it's like some of that metal and that.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be whatever his, but it's actually going to be the metal remake of Wherever You Are by him. And then I'm marrying Mortarian. I want to fix him. I know it's unhealthy. It's gonna be a toxic relationship.
It's gonna be gross.
But you know, I'm gonna try. I want to bring it back.
There's gonna be a lot of.
There's a good man in there.
There's gonna be a lot of gods.
There's a lot of gods.
I have a. Again, I will always say that one of my favorite things that they've ever done in the Black Library is Angron on the front of that ship when it translates into the Significant Solar.
Fair enough. Oh, that's a good one. All right. What about Slanesh? Poor Korn doesn't even get a place. Slanesh, Nurgle, and Zinch.
I mean, of course I'm gonna spend the weekend with Slanesh.
I mean, right?
Why wouldn't you? And I'm gonna kill Nurgle, and I'm gonna learn all the magic
from Zinch. Okay. I have to agree with you. No one can. I mean, obviously you're gonna spend the weekend with Slanesh, right? Yeah. You're gonna learn some shit, right? There's gonna be adventures. But fuck it, I'm killing Zinch. If you want a stable relationship with a happy man, where you're just like, it's gonna be Papa Nurgle.
Yeah.
I wanna be hanging out with Papa Nurgle.
Become a.
There's some dude for you, sir.
That's
a little. Yeah, you don't even know.
No.
You're like, kill them all. I don't give a shit.
I know who Paul Atreides is. Just comes from the basic description.
No, Paul Atreides is you know, whatever. I get it. I don't want to hang out with this whiny boy, you know, Muad'Dib guy. Gurney is going to be my weekend fun boy. Are we talking Mentat Duncan Idaho, or are we talking original Duncan Idaho? Because these reverse based on that. If it's Mentat Duncan Idaho,
Timothée Chalamet plays Paul Atreides.
I know, he's so sad boy. If it's Mentat Duncan Idaho, I'm marrying that one. But if it's just normal Duncan Idaho, I'm spending the weekend with him and marrying Gurney Alec. But otherwise, marrying Mentat Duncan Idaho,
and that's Jason Momoa.
And weekend, yeah, I mean, right?
I have to put a name.
And weekend, but if I'm gonna have if I'm gonna get hooked pitched, I want Mentat skills.
Gurney Alec is that's John Brolin.
Well, I know, right?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. So.
And Paul Atreides is what Timothée Chalamet. Yeah, he's just sad that he can't get that Oscarizing here in the Oscars
because he's Leto.
He's Leto Atreides. Yes. There's Paul Atreides and Paul Atreides.
Yeah. Which so I saw it whenever I have a quick rant. It comes off of our books. It comes off of our FMK. Horus. I have a little bit of a rant. I feel like at the beginning of the Horus Heresy, when you see him, he's so cool, and that's where I feel like if I was just kind of knowing myself, kind of like the old, if you had force powers, you would use them for nothing good.
Yeah, it'd be dirty.
Know it.
It would be dirty.
But like. If Horus said join me, I would say yes. But I feel like the way that they handle his arc into chaos by the Siege of Terra, he's just kind of busted up a little bit.
Did you read Vengeful Spirit?
Yeah.
He's so good in that.
Yes,
he gets to be Horus again.
But it's funny because he's Horus again, and then by Buried Dagger, he's like.
He's sad a lot. Whatever.
Yeah,
he made
and I don't know. I don't know. I feel like there's a slight bobble on his character arc. I'm like, because he needs to stay a threat. But by the time you get to the Siege of Terra series, which everyone should read the Siege of Terra series. However, it's Abaddon that's dealing with which is kind of cool because Abaddon's handling the shit.
Yeah, he needs to be. They need to set him up.
Yeah,
they're waiting for the
sequel.
But
at the same time, it's like, where's Horus? Oh, he's brooding somewhere.
He broods.
But like, I don't know. Horus is so cool and so tough, but by the time we get to the Siege of Terra, all of a sudden, it's all making him sick. And it's like, I'm like, there's for me, there's a little disconnect. I'm like, I would rather have Horus kind of have a little more swagger than he used to.
He'll be, he's gonna get a big moment at the end.
Yeah. All right. Any other wild speculations or rants?
I don't, but I'm excited. So 2 weeks from now, one of my favorite sequences that we're going to be doing that I'm real stoked for is we're going to be playing a little quiz show where people try to guess 40K characters Tinder bios.
Yeah.
So which way would you swipe, left or right, for some of these 40K people?
Swipe left, right, or break your data slate.
You gotta put your app on your data slate. So I'm super excited about that next week because I am deep down a 16-year-old boy.
And then as soon as possible, we'll have our Blood Bowl episode once we know more.
We're gonna have some Blood Bowl.
Yeah, and then maybe
we're gonna roll some ones and re-roll some ones.
Maybe someday we'll talk Age of Sigmar a little bit as well. Some of that fluff is developing. It's getting interesting. Yeah, you know.
But you know what I know an obsessive amount about? 40K.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully you'll sober up in time for whatever you have to do tomorrow.
Yeah, don't drive home just yet.
We're not.
And keep on our Twitch. We have a lot going on.
We're on Twitch.
Which is, do we have shows every night or almost every night? We
have
shows. Watch Where the Old Ones Are.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty cool.
We're also in that.
There's some badass people on that one too.
There's 2 super cool people and 2 people that are pretty great.
Yeah, and
I think we're good. 2 weeks. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, and buy your Warhammer stuff tomorrow. Tabletop.
Woo.